Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very good morning. Today we have our preliminary, one of the first lecture, actually in the field of understanding of Islamic finance. So today we will speak about Sharia and about principles of Sharia and what Sharia will, how Sharia can help for us to understand the principles of Islamic finance, and then how it will go on with the understanding of industry of Islamic finance and how can we use it in our daily life. So let's begin. And now, if it will be good, please, who is present today, please introduce yourself briefly, who you are and what you are expecting from today's lecture, if possible by English, if no, by Russian. So introduce yourself first, from where you are, and what your expectation, and probably what of idea of your today's coming to this lecture, and what you expect at the end of the day to get and to be. Okay, so please, from the right side.
My name is Mark. I'm from Astana. I'm here today because actually Islamic finance is one of the most advanced industry in the world, and it's a new market in our country. Is the first reason. Second reason, actually I'm a Muslim, so it's closely related to my lifestyle. So I'm here and I'd like to know more about this industry.
Thank you. My name is Nasir. Yesterday I introduced myself. Who doesn't know me, I wanted to say about myself that I finished bachelor degree in Arabic studied Arabic language. And
which university?
Kazoo. No, yes. Okay. And secondly, graduated from University of International Business in the economy field. So why I chose Islamic finance? Because for me it's really interesting, and I finished. I also wrote and worked for 2 years in my diploma work, master's degree work in Islamic finance in the field of, in the frame of Islamic International Finance Center. Have some analyzed a lot of things, and it's really interesting for me, and have a big role in the growth of economic Kazakhstan. Good luck for everyone. Have a good day and take a good information.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello, my name is Elana. This year I finished my university, and I'm interested in finance because when I studied at university, we passed this
Same, yeah?
yeah, this thing, and I want to расширить сознание.
Okay, to widely understood, yes. What is about Islam? Okay, thank you. And please.
My name is Emma. We all know each other because this is our not first lecture.
Okay, good.
And I will do this myself to you. I want to know more about Islamic finance because first of all I am a Muslim, and the second reason is that I work in financial area. I am a lawyer and work at Tesla Capital.
Any expectation about today's lecture?
Expectations?
Uh-huh.
I think I want to know the framework about this topic, and this is my main motivation.
Good morning. My name is Birik.
Birik?
I'm from Almaty. I'm a MBA student of the KIMA. I work until 2013. I work in the air industry. We are managing the airports. We have 9 airports in Kazakhstan. So my position there is asset manager. Why I'm here? I used to work for the financial sectors many years before in different banks, in the stock market as a financial analyst. And sometimes I thought about myself, about the world, why the crisis is happening so frequent. Then I traveled a lot. I came to the Malaysia once upon a time, and I saw that Muslim finance is one of the developed model of money governing, and that started my interest of Islamic finance. My expectation is that I would like to know more about this system, and eventually I would like to see that in Kazakhstan we will have a major part of the financial sector as a Islamic finance.
Okay, thank you for your, okay. Alaikum assalam.
My name is Maya. I'm happy to be here. I work in Astana Sport Consulting as a manager. My first bachelor degree is in finance and economics, and second is a KIMA master degree in international relations. In previous job, I worked with IDB, Islamic Development Bank, and in 2009, we attract. I was one of the team who wrote the program to attract the $10 million from the IDB for financing rural population in agriculture. So we attracted and we worked very good. And also I work with, we had a cooperation with the ATFIMI organization, one of the big organization who work with the Islamic financial institutions. So I would like to learn a lot from in this sphere, and inshallah I would like to work in this industry. Yes. So because we see that maybe in the world even a lot of riba things and all these haram things don't bring so good wealth for population. So we need to refuse from all these haram things, and I would like to be part of this big team.
Okay, very well, thank you. Please.
Hello, my name is Azal. I'm here in Brazil University. I am interested in knowing more about Islamic finance.
Okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Islam. I'm a 4-year student in this university, and I just want to get more knowledge about this field. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
I came from Almaty, and this topic also familiar for me because when I graduated Practices University master degree, I am one of the first students who successfully defended the dissertation theme on Islamic finance development in Kazakhstan, applying on Malaysian model. And I used to work in Pakistan for 2 years, but now I decided maybe in the future, inshallah, to hope to see in this field myself as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So, very well introduction actually, and I'm happy to see you here because very interesting people, and I suggest our of course very useful for all of us, because we will learn from you and you will learn from this lecture, inshallah. So let's start. So this is briefly our content, our first part of today's lectures, and this we support to close before the lunch. So briefly what we will have today, it's overall introduction and Sharia things, what is actually fundamental of Sharia. So let's go, and step by step we'll go and see what our lecture is consist of. So firstly, I would like to do not introduce Sharia, because Sharia itself speaking. So only to give some points about Sharia and about relation of Sharia and the principle of Sharia, what we are going to learn today, and its relation with our particular thing, what is, as we understood from you, is main and the core interesting thing for you is Islamic finance and Islamic banking. Because of course, what we are learning, we should to implement it in our daily life. So briefly, what is connection between Islamic finance and Islamic banking, between the industry and Sharia? That Sharia is the fundamental of the base on which Islamic finance and Islamic banking is operate and operate in accordance with it. So what I would like to do now, I would like to show you one video. It's provided by AIM. So this video will give you overall view about what we are going to study, and perhaps it will be more than it, and let's see it, and if it's possible to close, okay, I will, it will be better. So let's go. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
You are familiar with the word Islamic banking. Mostly, what people want to know about Islamic banking is where it came from. Is Islamic banking really Islamic? And was there a concept of banking at the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? In this video, we are going to answer all these questions. Plus, we will give you a short overview of growing demand of present Islamic finance industry. And if you are a finance professional, why should you consider learning Islamic finance? And why is a first choice of professionals who are seeking quality education in Islamic finance? Let us first discuss the origins of Islamic banking and financial system. The origins of Islamic financial system can be traced back from the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Trading was main source of income of people living in Makkah. In Makkah, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to carry out merchandise to Syria on business partnership basis. When Prophet migrated to Medina, the main source of income of people living in Medina was agriculture. They used to make a forward contract for prescribed dates to be delivered later in 1, 2 or 3 years' time. This was the ancient form of salam. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, allowed these kind of transactions under some conditions. In addition to that, Islamic modes of transactions that Prophet allowed in his time include shirka, ijara and surf. Later, during 8th and 12th centuries, the Muslim world developed several Sharia-based financial instruments, including hawala trusts, promissory notes, bills of exchange and check system. In the 19th century, Islamic world started practicing modern Islamic banking system, which is derived from Quran, Hadith, Ijma and Qiyas. In this system, all the prohibited elements have been excluded, such as usury, uncertainty and speculation. It is a very common concept that Islamic banking is not really Islamic. As a matter of fact, there is no issue with the Islamic banking as a system. But due to some commercial-minded bankers and investors, the industry is facing few issues. However, these problems are minimizing over the time. There is a major difference between conventional banking and Islamic banking systems. For example, you want to start a manufacturing plant. If you go to a conventional bank, the bank will pay you the money for the business and will charge you an interest on that money. In the contrary, if you go to an Islamic bank, they will make partnership with you in your business. Since the financial risk is borne by investors, only people with skilled business proposals come up. This strengthens the economy of the society, and this is the reason why the Islamic banks were unaffected by recent international banking and subprime mortgage crisis. The importance of Islamic financial system cannot be ignored because it is an essential need of Muslims around the world, and that is 24% of total world's population. This percentage is expected to reach 35%, to outnumber any other religion by year 2050. Important thing is that Islamic banking is also popular among non-Muslims because of the following reasons. It condemns usury, which is also strictly forbidden in Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, and Hinduism. It is an ethical and moral banking system which condemns taking advantage of others' misfortunes. Due to all these facts, Islamic finance is now trillions of dollars industry with a yearly growth rate of more than 20%. There are tens of thousands of job openings every month in more than 100 countries where skilled Islamic finance professionals are needed.
This is a brief understanding or brief introduction to the industry, Islamic finance and Islamic banking, and what is more useful information that we get from this video, that Islamic banking, probably you will hear that it's beginning from last century, 19th, but in fact it began from 14th centuries before. So we as a Muslims should be very proud that our history, also the people, our grandfathers, for example, Al-Farabi and even Sultan Baybars and others from our regions was also involved in developing of Islamic finance in the world. So this history is our history, and Islamic finance is not far from us. It's our history and it's our tradition, actually. So let's move forward. So now, what is the relation between Sharia and Islamic finance? First of all, what is Sharia? In Arabic language, Sharia have a different and many definitions of or understanding from the different schools and different people, scholars as well, ulama. But in brief, literally, Sharia it means away, or other interpret tells us that water hole. It means water from beginning or from the what we have it to reach the water, this place to reach the water. So in Islamic terminology, or in we can say in industry terminology, it means the legal system of Islam. So Sharia means Islamic law, and Islamic finance, so it's Sharia compliant finance. Okay. Now we would like to know what is the relation between Sharia and what is the components of Sharia. So now we're going to understand the rules of Sharia, and these rules known as the fiqh. So fiqh, it's our tools. How to understand Sharia? We need a fiqh. Fiqh is jurisprudence or law, actually. So fiqh is a human understanding of Sharia. So Sharia, this law, what given for us from the God, and how we understand it? By understanding of the people, of humans. So people, scholars, our imams who understand the Sharia, they wrote the fiqh. So fiqh fiqh is a human understanding of Sharia. And the Sharia objectives implemented by ruling, it's done by fatwa. So for example, in some cases, in some issues, ulama put some Sharia rules, and this putting of these rules know for us the fatwas. And now we will go to understand what is the hukm. Actually, the hukm and fatwa is very similar, very close to each other. So hukm is the plural ahkam. So is a particular ruling. So in some definite issues, cases, so for any case, we have some hukm, ahkam. So this is a briefly understanding what is Sharia, component of Sharia, how the Sharia is coming and the basis from the beginning, what is the biggest understanding, then what is the inside of it. So we're going step by step to understand the roots of Sharia, from which it comes and how it will be implemented in our practices. Also what we should to know about Sharia, and inside of fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, we have the fiqh muamalat. So I suppose you before you have some briefly understanding of muamalat of fiqh. So there is different kinds of fiqh. For some fiqh, for example, it's for ibadat. Ibadat, it means only praying, for example. And the second part, the fiqh muamalat. Muamalat, it's our interrelations, our daily activities with each others. It's mean muamalat. So fiqh al-muamalat, this part of Sharia, this part of fiqh is covering our interrelations, you see. So this is fiqh al-muamalat. Any questions till now? You have some specific needs? Okay, so go on. Now what we need to know, it's how ahkam, Sharia rules, is different from each other. So which Sharia rule we have? So some of Sharia rules perhaps should be obligatory. Some of Sharia rules, it's recommended. By Arabic, wajib, mandub. Some of it permissible, mubah. Some of it disliked, makruh. And some of it is prohibited, haram. So for example, in order to understand such things, we can go, for example, to common things like marriage. So, for example, to people that should to, for example, going to married. In some cases, for him, marriage may be haram. So somebody can say when the marriage can be haram. Any examples? Yes, mahram. Yes, with relatives, you cannot marry to, for example, your sister or your relatives. So at that case, the marriage is haram. Yes, you are right. Another kind of, for example, disliked makruh. When it can be makruh? Any ideas of it? When marriage can be makruh, disliked. I mean, Sharia not good seeing or thinking that this marriage will be good. It can be disliked. Any ideas? Huh?
With the person with a different religion background.
Yeah, so this is case. Other ideas. For example, if we have
when you marry to your
cousin, yes, it's permissively, but it's actually not so much in some schools, in some mazhabs, it's okay, it's not disliked, but in some mazhabs, in point of view of some ulama, it's not right things, it's disliked. You're right. Any other, for example, if somebody have one wife, and we would like to have, as we know in Sharia, it's permissible to have a second, third, and fourth. In which case, for example, it will be also disliked. Can be.
First wife doesn't give permission.
Yeah. Like this. Another.
And when you can обеспечивать.
Yeah, you are right. When you have not sufficient, yes, your budget is not, yes, permit you to have another 2 seconds or third wife. In this case, it's also, it will be disliked. It will be makruh. Okay, please. So now we understand what is disliked and what is prohibited. So permissible. Permissible, it's mubah. Actually, mubah, it make very close to halal. Halal thing is mubah thing. For now, we see the prohibited haram, and where is halal? Halal is here. Permissible things is halal. Opposite, yes, almost opposite things. So, for example, halal, yes, because yes, those people, yes, is. From the books, yes, from the books people, and perhaps why not in some days, yes, the wife can, yes, be a Muslim because very close and very, yes, very similar things we have with Christian, for example. And mubah, it means somebody can marry to permissible, yes. Okay, so when it can be recommended, mandub. Recommended, it means it should to marry. Yes, close. Yes, young people. Yes.
At the age of 25 years, it's this time when they were.
Prophet. Yes. Sallallahu yes, he married. Yes, perhaps something like this. Recommended time when the young people is ready to be married. So this time is recommended because they now grow and they have ability to marriage. So at that time, at that case, it will be recommended. And for example, what is the obligatory? What is the wajib in these things? When marriage should be like a obligatory thing? Nikah. Okay, nikah. Yes, this is a marriage things. Yes.
Person,
Yes.
in order not to make haram, he should marry.
Yes. In case, for example, somebody will be, yes, in situation with he going to haram things, it's a better thing to get married, and at that time it will be obligatory. So now you understood what is the rulings of Sharia. So at some issues, in some case, some rulings will be obligatory. Some ruling can be recommended, and so on. It means there is no rules, for example, that suit everything. No. At some point, and some circumstances, we can use the obligatory Sharia rulings, and other permissively. And in some situations, it will be prohibited. So, very important thing here, know that Sharia give us many solutions. You see, so some situations in some countries maybe manage it and maybe gives a solution by one way. In other country, in other place, in other situation, it can be done by other Sharia rulings, you see. So this is very important to know that Sharia is not something that solid, something is not flexible, something is not can be used by different way. No, Sharia is very flexible, and Sharia can cover every situation in our daily life, you see. This is very important thing to know. Any questions, anything you would like to say? Please do not hesitate to give your comments and to give your opinions in this. So go on. Now, a very important thing, what we should to know, that Sharia governs and guides by some legal maxims. This is the rulings as well, and these rulings, we call it legal maxims. It means main rules. You see, this we will take it later. this coming from the rules from Quran and from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who would give us the strict ruling. So when, for example, Prophet or in Quran, there is something is state. То есть we have to know where some rulings give us the solutions, ready solutions. We not need to go and search about something. We have some given things, and this is like a axiom in the math. Something axiom, something is well known and very common in Sharia. So, for example, we have one legal maxim which mean al-umur bi maqasidiha. So acts are judged by intention. So we have very good hadith where everything what we're doing by our intention, manage it and judge it by our intention. So for example, if you're going to some, for example, to the mosque, your intention to make a prayer there. So you will have your reward depends according to your intention. So for example, I don't know, maybe other situation you can share with us. For example, somebody will go to the, for example, to the club or to some cinema, and may he have a good intention to visit this place. So it's very important to know the intention of the people who going to do something. And according to this intention, the people who do this intention, he will reward it. So any ideas how can be done this? Any example to the Sharia legal maxim al-umur bi maqasidiha? Maqsad, it means al-umur, firstly, this means our practice, our daily practice, al-umur. So bi maqasidiha, it means, for example, we have our, who know Arabic well as well. So bi maqasidihi, it means by your intention. So what you do, it's by your intention. Any ideas of this? Okay.
For example, we have one purpose to come here, it's to know about more Islamic finance. However, we have maybe different intention, and based on we will get different level of rewards.
Yes.
For example, I came here just to know about Islamic finance and so on. To broaden my knowledge. Or I can come here to learn about more Islamic finance and with intention to help Muslims in Kazakhstan, who live in Kazakhstan. So these are two different intentions, and of course we will have different results. That's my point.
Okay. Any other?
With a second example, maybe when you go on the road and you see the stone on the road, okay, and you will take it.
Move it. Yes, move it out.
Чтобы облегчить себе путь. Yes. Or the second intention, and where you did it to make life easier for other people, for the community. Yes. And more.
Yes, you're right. Very good. So this man have two intentions. First intention for himself, and second intention for the others. And of course, he will take more award from Allah because he makes something for the others as well. And such things, I think, a lot of in our life. When our intention, it's very important. How to know what we are doing now, what we are going to do. This is very important to know. For example, your previous understanding of Islamic and Muamalat, Islamic finance, so there is some, for example, products what you probably know from our friends before. So in Mudaraba contract, you remember what is the Mudaraba? For example, if the intention of entrepreneur is to provide a guarantee, entrepreneur, there is two sides in Mudaraba contract. For example, the entrepreneur, Mudarib, who going to have money from Rabbul Mal, he would like to make a guarantee to return the capital to the capital provider, to the Rabbul Mal. This contract, is it Mudaraba contract or it's not Mudaraba contract? So very important to know that in this case, in Mudaraba, there is no guarantee. So intention of to provide a guarantee makes this contract is not valid, you see. So very important thing, what we are going to do in our, for example, Islamic finance transactions, our intentions, how it will be done. So this is not Mudaraba contract because this against of Mudaraba spirit. Because we know that Mudaraba, it's not accept any guarantee in this. Okay, let's move. And the second is al-yaqinu la yuzalu bishaq. Al-yaqinu la yuzalu bishaq. So certainty is not overruled by doubt. It means something we know, this is very well known, certain. So if some doubt, something appear, we know waswas of shaitan who coming to us and to saying no, this not like this and this wrong. So but you know that there is a certain thing, so your doubt, especially in Islamic transactions, in something is our life, which where is the people involved in this, we could not go and guide by the doubt if there is some certain thing. So the certain, we know this is right, and we know this is well known, and we should know, follow some doubts, something we in our mind, in somebody call you, no, this is, this is not like this, is wrong. No, we should to follow certain thing. And in Sharia, it's something very common and very important. So in Sharia, we guide by the certain thing. Okay. Any, for example, any examples for this? For example, from your understanding of Islamic products, Islamic finance products. So, for example, here we can also use some additional legal maxim to support or to be in the one way with this legal maxim. So this legal maxim telling us the norm of Sharia like a presumption of innocence, презумпция невиновности. So in Islamic finance, if there is no something is as a fact, so we could not, for example, tell, this is wrong or this is well, because we haven't accurate and very strict something to judge on these things. So presumption of innocence in Islamic finance, in Sharia as well, it's very important thing. We could not, for example, tell this somebody is not good, or this is actually is not it's not good in Sharia from beginning. This is a ghaiba, yes. But for example, in transactions also, it's very important to know. So we cannot say, so this is good or this is bad if we haven't enough and sufficient fact to judge this, to make it very okay.
Sorry, I don't understand. Sharia не допускает презумпцию невиновности?
No. Wrong. Yes, the presumption of innocence is very important in Sharia because this support for example, for Sharia scholars who make some researches, they're very important to know that they cannot judge in something if they have not enough information about this. You see? Yes. And they cannot say this is good and this is bad because the presumption of innocence should be there. You see? Okay. And this legal maxim in Sharia is al-aslu wara ad-dhimma. From the beginning, everybody is clear. Everybody is not make something bad, something wrong. Everybody is clear. So, but if you have something you as fact, only at that time you can say, this is wrong because I have enough sufficient information, and then I can say this is wrong or this is bad. Yes. Okay. Okay. Such things or such rulings we have a lot. So al-asl baqa ma kana ala ma kana. So for example, it means there is another additional norm in Sharia that say the norm is that the status quo remains as it was before. So as it was before, we need to have some examples here. Yes? For example, a validity. Included contract is presumed to remain valid unless it's proven that the contract has been terminated. So the contract is from beginning is valid. For example, it's have enough fatwa and have enough approvals from Sharia side. So this contract still valid unless it terminated by something, for example, some not right. For example, things what coming in this contract. You see? So from the beginning, if it's right, it remains right. For example, there is a very good, for example, hadith. When you go to the prayer and you have some doubt, I have wudu or I haven't wudu. At that time, if you have wudu from beginning, it's still with you. So you are on wudu and you go to prayer because you have the strict or the very, for example, information that you haven't wudu. You see, so this is very known in Sharia as well. Any question right now? I think maybe for some of you, okay, everything is clear. Okay. Additional norm in this as well, that the norm saying in regard to things is that of permissibly. Al-asl fi ashya al-ibaha. So perhaps you know in Sharia the very known common legal maxim that tells that everything in Sharia, everything in Islam is permitted, except something what is forbidden. You see? So this is a common thing in Islam. Everything, you can eat it, no problem. You can drink, you can sleep, you can go, you can come. Except something what is forbidden. What is we know, this is haram. Except haram, other thing is halal. You see? So this is asal fi ashya al-ibaha. So beginning or things is from the beginning is permissibly. Okay. So this is additional legal maxims that come from Quran and Sunnah. Okay.
We can say this talking about something that is not related to religion, something that is not related to our praying, fasting, and so on. For example, when we walk, when we go to sleep, when we go to trade, and so on. But when we are talking about religion, just how to fast, how to pray, how to do Hajj, perform Hajj. Opposite, everything is haram, but only those things that is described are halal. I mean.
Yes, you mean this is ibadat. It means ibadat. It's your praying, your fasting, some rules which are already done in religion. Related to our praying things. Yes, this is you're right, but it's not contradict these ideas because yes, in this situation we have strict rules how to deal in, for example, during the salah and how to prepare salah and yes, but it's not contradict this. We have the ruling like يقين لا يزال بالشك. So we have a strict ruling in this. So it's not contradict, it's only supporting this idea. So you see, when you, for example, from Quran and Sunnah, your understanding of these things is, it should be very clear. So I think when we go further, you will see how it's managed by Sharia in this situation. So, for example, in situation of al-dararu yuzal, it means hardship, it should be removed. So, if we see that there is something wrong, by Sharia rulings, it should be removed. It should be solved this problem. We cannot, yes, we cannot give it, and it cannot still be as it is. For example, one may argue that the imposition of ta'weed, compensation, has the effect of increasing in additional debt that therefore unlawful. For example, if some dealings coming and there is some delay in payment, and some people can say there is a delay, so it should be covered by ta'weed, by compensation, in order to make who the customer, paying and closing his obligations. In that time, what we should to do? How we can manage it? How we can make more discipline of this customer? It managed by compensation, fees, some claims. What the customer taking, he should to pay something additionally. At that time, it may, from Sharia view, it may cause some riba, because it's increasing in obligations, you see. But in order to discipline this person who is should to pay, in that case, it's allowed to make him, to obligate him to pay more. Other thing, to where this money is going, additional, it's going to charity. This is other thing. So Sharia man or Sharia people manages this situation in order to not give the who to pay to not be disciplined, to do not pay at the time, for example, to do not be sufficient in his obligations. The Sharia at that time obligate him to pay more and to be very strict and to not delay in his payments. So the next one, it means dar al-mafasid awla min jalbul masalih. Harm prevention should be given the priority than promoting the benefit. So you have some benefits from, in Sharia, you can remember, for drinking of wine, for example. In winter period, who is drinking wine, he can be healthy and to survive in very cold weather, for example. But this is the benefit, yes? But there is another forbiddenness. Who drinking the wine, he become a drunk, you see? So in this situation, there is no benefits. So Sharia not, for example, allow to drink wine in order to be survived in the cold weather, because there is another thing which is the forbidden, you see? So in this case, we say that in harm, prevention should be given. So there is a prevention to stop the harm and to not go to the benefit. Okay. So any comments, please?
When you, for example, you have a ship accident and you are on an island and there are no food except pork.
Yes, there is some, for example, yes, exceptions, of course. There is some time or some situation that is not common. Of course, at that situation, yes, we will have another legal maxim which will manage this situation, you see. So the this is something like standards, you see. And when Sharia scholars, ulama, when they come to some situation, they manage it by these things, you see. And for example, at some cases, they will take and they will guide by one of this legal maxim. In other situation, ulama will say, no, this legal maxim is more advanced and more or better or suit this situation more than this one, you see. So this depends on ulama and the people who know Sharia well, who know and who judge, who can judge and who legal to judge in such situations. But you're right. There is some additional exemptions. What we tell. So al-adatu muhakkamatu. Custom is the basis of the judgment. So sometimes, for example, we have no strict and clear Sharia rules from Quran and Sunnah. For something is in new things, for example, like airplanes. Airplanes wasn't in the time of the Prophet. How can we judge it? Is halal or not halal? How can we judge it? By the customs, by the real situation on daily life. So custom, it means our traditions, yes, how it can help us in solving of some situation. And in some countries, for example, it's traditionally is permitted some rulings, and there is no strict ruling from Sharia on this. Is it haram or is it halal? In this situation, ulama can judge that this custom is not contradict Sharia. So these things, what is in accordance with these customs, with this legal maxim, al-adatu muhakkamatu, they can judge that this is things is halal. You see?
So for example, in that time, the were kept.
Yes.
And we can do some analogy between the customs with camels and between the
yes.
behavior with cars.
Yes, yes. You mean there is some analogy, and we will speak about this later on, that Sharia rulings, we using different ways how to judge in different situations. So as you mentioned, this it depends on qiyas. Qiyas, when the Sharia scholars, they use analogy. Something what you know that is okay in some situation, you can make by analogy. In other situation, you can use it. You see? So this is the qiyas, and we will take it later on. So this is it's of course there is a lot of legal maxims in Sharia. We take only something which is common, and something which is using in Sharia in Islamic finance perspective. But you see, people who is really would like to be involved in such things, of course, these legal maxims will be like you see on your table every day to know which time what is the Sharia rulings we have in different situation. This is a case. Okay. Any question?
Do we need to write everything, or we can send it?
Of course, these things, it's only just brief. I can send this presentation. Of course, later on we will have some examination as well. So, yes, at least try to understand. Yes, try to understand. Then you will, when you will come to this point, yes, you should to know how to deal with it. What does it mean? But actually, I will not ask you what does it mean. I will ask you more what is and how can we use it in some situations. Yes. That's yes.
I understood it like, for example, about credit. We can't take credit in Muslim countries, but if we live not in a Muslim country, we can take it.
Not so much right. Yes, yes, not so much right, because I mentioned when I told about adat, customs, these customs should be not contradictory. You see, for whatever you will be in which country, if these things is forbidden in Sharia, of course there is exemption as well. For example, you have, and we will take this later on, some situation when you should to survive. And this is very dangerous for your health or to your life or something. This is a different thing. But in common, in something is what is understandable for all. The customs, what we mean by customs here is customs which is not contradict, which is not against Sharia things, which is well known from Quran and from Sunnah, you see? Okay?
One of the good examples from my parents, when he was in the army during the Soviet Union, and they gave them always the pork, the soup with the pork, and the second with the pork. And he said he cannot stop eating this because everything is with pork. So I think this situation is like an example. Right? So,
yes, at that time, yes, he good because he haven't any other choice. Very, of course, very difficult situation at that time. Yeah. Okay.
When people, when someone died, they use the custom which was used to with the parents or some grandmothers, and but in Islam, this custom there is no any custom. I mean, it shouldn't be used. This custom, I know, not custom, but some things. Yeah?
Yes, very well known for all of us. Okay.
Yeah, but there is two contradictions. They said no, it is a custom. We need to do all these things. Something, yes, but from another side, they said no, it's not compulsory to do. What should be done
at that time? Of course, first of all, Sharia people should to manage this situation, but mainly when you will go and we see case by case, what you mean by custom, which is, for example, applicable or which is taken by our, for example, Kazakh, traditions. Yes, where it contradicts Sharia. For example, you see every part of this. For example, some of this may not contradict, and there is no strict, something strict and something very clear, for example, prohibition to do such things from Sunnah, from Quran, and from Ijma.
There is no strict prohibition, but there is, we, in the ancient time, we follow for 10 riyals, some things, and all these things, a lot of things was remain until now, and they cannot remove this.
Yes.
Because
in this situation, the better it's to see and to divide. Yes, to divide what you think is really, for example, shirk is really forbidden in Islam, and which thing we can remain it. We can do it because there is no strict prohibition in Islam. In order to save the situation, to solve the situation, and to see where the Sharia may permit something according to this legal maxim, or when it cannot, you see. And on this, only Sharia people, they can judge. They can tell you what is how to deal in this situation. And very important thing, these Sharia people should be from this place, from this territory, from this country, because they very well know the situation in the country, the adat, customs of these people. For example, from the other country, if you will ask the Sharia people from other country how to manage it, they of course will judge you by them understanding of Sharia, by them customs. But it's not so much liable, you see. So very important thing, how to deal with such things in Sharia, you see. So this is very difficult to. Okay. So okay with this. Okay. Let's go forward. So So now very important and very, I think, very well known for you issue, sources of Sharia. So from where we will take this understanding of Sharia? What is our source? Our source is here. So first of all is Quran. Of course, Quran is a book of Islam, book of Allah, and it gives us primary sources. We call it Quran the primary sources, you see? Of course, we understand the primary sources. The primary sources has its privilege. When we, for example, thinking to have our understanding from different things, we should firstly go to Quran and to see what we have in Quran to judge or to how can we manage our situation according to this. The first of all is Quran. Second is Sunnah. Sunnah, of course, as you can see here, saying and action of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, there is some additional things, but this is the main understanding. The Prophet's saying and doing. The third source is ijma. Ijma is consensus. So it's very important to understand that ijma consensus by the bigger number of Sharia scholars. Actually, it's beginning from Sahaba, our companions of our Prophet's time. Ijma coming from this time. So scholarly consensus. And ijtihad. Ijtihad based on qiyas, deduction by analogy. So the ijma and ijtihad, of course, these sources can be understandable the secondary sources, because it's not from the main source, from the main from the main source when we taking our information, our understanding of Sharia, of Islam, by these two things. Ijtihad, of course, as we mentioned before, as we speak about this, based on qiyas, and qiyas is analogy. Okay, so this is the main four sources, but of course this is not all, and we're going to see what is later. Actually, we have chance to have some coffee break. So yes, what is your opinion? To have a coffee break now? Okay. So good idea. Yes, in order to to wake up. Okay. And of course, if any questions on this.
Is a deduction by analogy. He sounds similar as the English law.
Yeah. Yes. Actually, when we will go further, you will see that a lot of Arabic from the Sharia sources words using in English law. You will see aqd. Aqd in Arabic language is a contract. Yes. And these words, of course, in English law, in Russian language, aqd, also they using these words. So you are right. These things is sources not for Muslims and for Islamic finance. This also sources for the English law, for the non-Muslims as well.
As we were trying to adopt here.
Yes, of course, and they taking this from Islam, from Sharia before. We came to our secondary source of Sharia. So firstly, we know that primary sources is Quran and Sunnah. And secondary sources is ijma, firstly, and secondly is ijtihad based on qiyas. So now we should to know some additional secondary sources, what we guide by in order to know the source of Sharia. So first of all, we will speak about istihsan. Istihsan in Arabic language, it means something is preferable. So there is some two things, for example, and by istihsan we can prefer one. So it's something is most advanced, for example. So istihsan, when we will speak about istihsan, so for example, there is some rulings backed by some dalil. What we mean it dalil? Dalil, something is some support from Quran and Sunnah, and it will be ayah, it can be some action, and can be some situation during the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all of this we understand it by dalil. So, for example, in some situations there is two dalil, or many of them. So we will use the understanding and the rules of and source of istihsan. Sharia scholars, from the some amount of dalil, they will choose, they will take the better one, which is the suit the situation. So this method of choosing from a lot of options how to solve this issue, some certain issue, this rules or this method may give our understanding of istihsan. The second one is urf. Urf, as customs, as adat, what we taking before, it gives us understanding about the traditions. So urf in Arabic language, it means tradition. So the sources of Sharia in this case is traditions. As we discussed it before, some kind of traditions which is not contradict Sharia in other things what we, for example, our primary sources, which is mentioned in Quran and Sunnah, if these customs and these sources is not contradict, we can use it as well. So this is the urf. For example, istihsan. Somebody can give our example of, okay, or some understanding of istihsan and urf till the moment.
About qalim, it's urf. Okay. And how much qalim you need
to pay. Okay. Actually, of course, qalim in our Kazakh, for example, language, but in Sharia, actually there is similar thing, which is suit qalim. You know how it called? Mahr. You see? So mahr, in Sharia, yes, there is a mahr in Sharia before. You see?
Similar, but not
the same.
the same. Because qalim goes
Okay?
mahr goes to the wife.
To the wife. Yeah, very well. Very well comment on this. So in this situation, how Sharia people can manage, and what they will make istihsan to which, you see, to which side? To this, what is mentioned in Sharia, or to tradition, qalim? What do you think? Of course, because there is certain rule in Sharia before our traditional thing, you see. So when we have the two, here we will use istihsan, and Sharia people who have a good understanding of Sharia, they will say, no, the right to give this qalim, mahr, whatever you will call it, yes, you should to give it to the wife, not to the parents.
Because the parents is obligatory to give the daughter to the.
Yes, they have other obligation actually, but not to sell their daughters to somebody. Yes, it's not deals, it's not commercial things.
For example, for wife,
I don't know. Okay, of course, it's not our topic of, but just to think about. Yes. Actually, it depends on wife. Yes. The firstly, husband give to wife. If wife will decide to give it to the parents, why not? You see, this is the second issue. So this can be solved in any case. But we have general rule and we have assumptions or the options. Yes, and this is an open thing. You see, Sharia is not something solid, something is not flexible. You can see it upon your agreement. But the firstly, mahar should be paid to wife. Okay? Okay, go. And second is istihsab. So what does it mean of istihsab? It's actually very close to the istihsan, but it's istishab, sorry, yes. Istishab means maintenance of the previous ruling, hukum, as long as there is no other evident, dalil, then can change the particular ruling. So, of course, this was in the time of Prophet ﷺ, when some ruling, Quran itself came step by step, you see. So at some cases, there was some rulings, for example, in drinking of wine, yes. So it was, at the first stage, it was not prohibited, but only Quran says it's not right or not good to drink wine. The second, to not come to drunk to the prayer, and thirdly, it was forbidden. You see, so when this hukum, yes, everything's coming step by step. Also, the Sharia source and Sharia decisions, hukum, what we said, difference. So if there is new hukum or new dalil coming. So we can, even in our time, in our situation, can be there is because a lot of sources, a lot of Sharia scholars we have, and for example, in one common or one well-known situation, maybe some new dalil or some new evidence can came, and the rule which is already done can be changed. But of course, to know such examples maybe can be difficult. But why not? Maybe some of you know such situation before. Okay. So, for example, there is a contract of sale which is presumed exceeding until there is a letter of termination, which proves the termination of the contract. So there is some, in some clauses of the contract, there is some paragraph which said if this contract will be valid until some cases which will terminate this contract, you see? So this can be used in this situation, in istishab, you see? So the contract is going on, but some of party is not well paying at the time or something going wrong, at that time, contract will stop it, terminate it. So this is istishab. The fourth one is Sa'ad al-Zariya. Sa'ad al-Zariya, in Arabic language, it means stopping the way. Sa'ad, stop something, and Zariya, it means or ways, stop the ways. So when can be this Sharia source or this mechanism is used? For example, Prophet ﷺ said, no woman should travel except with a mahram, and no man should enter upon her unless a mahram of her is present. A man said, O Messenger of Allah, I want to go out with the army, and my wife wants to go to Hajj. And Prophet ﷺ says, go out for Hajj with your life. You see? So yes, in this situation, Prophet used the Sa'ad al-Zariya. So he tell him to not go to the army to war, and go with your wife to Hajj. You see? So this, because the better of course of his understanding to be part, yes, and with accompany, yes, her wife to the Hajj first, then you can go to the with the army. You see, so this in this situation, Prophet ﷺ, he used mechanism of Sa'ad al-Zariya. Okay. Istihsan and Sa'ad al-Zariya. Istihsan, when there is a two or many of options, and one of these options Sharia scholar can use depending on the situation. Of course, in this case of the Prophet, two, yes, we can use the two. The istihsan, because he choose between two options to go to, yes. But Saad Shariah is more applicable to this situation because he stopped it. You see, he stopped him to go to the war, but go to the Hajj. What do you think?
In the istihsan, if I read, in the istihsan, you can choose between several ways.
Yes.
All of these ways is
Depends, yes. Yes, yes.
Approval.
Mm-hmm.
In Saad Shariah, you can choose only one way because the second way is not preferable. You can go to the war because your wife want to go to Hajj. Если я правильно понял.
Yeah. That's similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, any, but of course also preferable one. Yeah, what is more suit the situation. You see, so it's actually in this hadith what I mentioned, it's two is okay, and the istihsan and Saad Shariah. But Saad Shariah it means you will stop something. Stop way by choosing something else. You see, and in istihsan there is no stopping. So this is options, open options, and you can choose one of these options. You see, this is mostly this difference between two. Yes, there is a priority. There is a lot of things. You see, situation, priority, time, what is better for Ummah as well. So there is a lot of things what the Sharia scholar, who will take the decision maker, he should to think about, to take it in consideration. You see. Oh, that's why.
Example of using all of this in finance.
In finance, actually now we are speaking about general rules of Sharia. You see, so now you should to understand all of this. Then we will go to more practical in Islamic finance. And in some cases, you by yourself, you will understand that in this case, Sharia people, they use it this ruling or this mechanism because it's most suited in this situation, you see. And we will speak it as well about this more widely when we will speak about current situation in the world. How decision makers, Sharia people, which rules or which techniques or which mechanism they are using now in our days, yes, nowadays. Istishab, when you have some hukum, it's already done, but by the time there is other things coming, istishab, something new thing yes occurred, and you will choose you will change this hukum to another one. In for example, in the contract, where the contract you write, if something will happen, for example, some party will not do his obligations, the contract will terminate it. You see, in this situation, it will be istishab.
Little question. In this sentence, the two words, what does they mean? Maslaha.
Maslaha mursalah. This is the fifth element. Yes, yes, we're going to it. Okay, so now we reached the maslaha mursalah. Maslaha in Arabic language means, can you help us, brother? Asad? Okay. Maslaha, it means benefit. Benefit. Yes. Benefits which is also preferable, mursala. So irsal actually it's something sending, to send something. In this case, maslaha was also actually very similar to other things, but it depends. So maslaha mursala means deciding a ruling based on the principle of general public interest in issue which not have clear or specific ruling from legal text or either Quran or Sunnah. According to Sharia, it's defined as a consideration which is proper and harmonized with the objectives of Sharia, consisting of protection religion, life, intellect, nothing, lineage, and property. Okay, so for example, the basis of allow a guarantee of capital by a third party in mudaraba contract is based on maslaha. You see, when we speak about mudaraba before, we told that mudaraba it couldn't include guarantee. Yes, but there is a third party who will enter in this mudaraba contract relations. In that time, for example, very big amount of money or something is for the governmental, governmental purposes, some big project, infrastructure project, and that time the third party came and guarantee for the investor, for the Rabbul Mal, if something going wrong, this third party will guarantee payment of this investment. You see, in this time, maslaha, this maslaha mursala came in on there. So maslaha mursala, it's mainly with the big and common or public issues when the importance of this project or these things is highly, not for the 2 or 3 people, it's for economy, for the population, perhaps. So maslaha mursala, we say this is something is very common, very deep and very wide for ummah. Okay, so these sources, of course, not last, not all, but this is the main secondary sources when Sharia people, Sharia scholars using it in order to give some hukm, some fatwa when they study this, some case and to give their opinion on it. Sharia legal opinion as a fatwa and hukm as we told it and speak about. So now we're going, any question now? Yeah. So if something is not clear?
It's like, for example, in Kazakhstan we have in agriculture now many farmers growing what's called?
Okay, farming. Okay, cattle.
It's very risky sector.
Yeah.
That's why government give them donation and like guarantee them if something happens, I will help you. Yes.
Yes, you are right. 100%.
First, to contact the helps is
First,
the best way is to solve the
but in mudaraba scheme, maslaha and musala could be from the state. Yes,
from the
state.
Yes, as a
third part is a guarantee.
Yes, you are right. For example, if there is some very risky situation, but it's very important for country, and at that time, for example, government can be the third party, and using this maslaha mursala can be entering in this cooperation, yes, and
and he will cover any losses, yes? I mean state.
Yes, state. Yes, by themselves, yes. And we have recently we have one deal with the IDB, as you know. So Islamic Development Bank, they provide financing for Kazakhstan, yes, to build water pipelines. You see, so of course it's not so commercial. So the profits in this project it's not so high, and actually there is only governmental companies they can enter in such projects. So they by the governmental loan or governmental guarantee from the Ministry of Finance, they attract investment from the IDB to finance this project.
For this example, when I work in this financial institution, we signed this agreement with IDB, and they are required to sign with the as a guarantee. It's another our partner, not partner, it's a subsidiary organization, another financial institution. He would be like a guarantee, plus it's a Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Agriculture. And from our company, it was a 4-5 sides agreement. But most of them, I mean, three parts, it's like a guarantee that we will return this money investment from the IDB.
Извините, а я бы больше назвал это как способ обеспечения исполнения обязательств, чем источник.
Yeah, you're right. This is a mechanism, but in this situation, it's a ruling source. So, for example, when Sharia people coming to the to know yani, how to deal or how to give their opinion on some or other situation, they are guided by this orf. Is it orf? No. Is it not orf? Istishab? No. Sa'du Zariya? No. Maslaha Mursala? Ah, okay. Maslaha Mursala, this or this ruling support to the Sharia people how to search about the which rule, which source of Sharia they will use to give their opinion, you see, on this. So at the second time, at the same time, it will be the mechanism as well, as you told. So it's depends how you to look at it, you see. So for example, from this side it will be look like from but at the end of the day it's the same things, you see, like this. Okay.
This is like public interest, yes? Yeah, like a contribution to the social life.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
And also, for example, working from the bank office and bank guarantee and the officer. And how about the example for private sector?
For private sector, real estate. Okay, let's think. Yes, for example, with some secondary banks, as we know, the how it called by English, Жилстройсбербанk. So they providing, yes. Yeah. For example, if it will be commercial bank, they will give you about 20 or something, yes, more, yes, their interest, yes, will be very high. But in case of this bank, yes, social, social-oriented bank, their percentage is not so high. You see, this because the government paying or supporting you, subsidizing you. You see. And the other as well example, Damu, you know, the fund of Damu, they also help very well for the SMEs, yes, for the SMEs.
For example, in financial institution, I mean, in comparing the bank and our company, bank never go to the rural to finance.
Yeah. Very difficult to commercial bank to go to rural area to invest.
The loan, it will be so 30-50% of the.
Yes, very expensive and very.
There was budgeting from the government, and we had all this all these discounts, everything, and, in order to
provide
all this rural population, because they have no any available
sources. Yeah, financial sources. Yes, you are right.
It's so in a low price, even though it's a Murabaka. For example, we attracted for 2% of the commission, like for.
Yes, administrative. Yes,
costs
expenses. Yeah.
And but we put 9% of the Murabaka program.
Yeah.
Because we had administrative costs, it's approximately 6-7%.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So in this situation, what the Sharia, for example, people, if there is Sharia people, they can use this maslaha mursala. Okay. Any question till now? Okay. So now very important thing when we are looking for how can we deal, how can we use, and which direction we will take when we're choosing which Sharia rules or which Sharia sources we will take. At the time, we have 4 Sharia schools, mazhabs, yes, which is gives us some some ready solutions. For example, we do not go to ask and to read the books and to read Quran or to study the hadith books or to go and to call somebody. We have ready solutions. It's mostly in all Sharia issues. For example, in fiqh al-muamalat and fiqh al-abadat as well. And what these Sharia schools meaning and who is leaders and who is beginners of these Sharia schools. So as you see, the first Hanafi mazhab, the founder of this mazhab, Imam Abu Hanifa. So, for example, at that time, the Hanafi mazhab is very famous or presence in countries like Turkey, Balkans and Central Asia, our countries. And we have second mazhab, Maliki mazhab, Imam Malik. It's mostly in Western Africa, GCC countries, Saudi Arabia, for example. No, not Saudi Arabia. It's mainly in Bahrain, in eastern part of Oman, in eastern part of not Sudan. It's Gulf. It's Arabian, Persian, Yemen, yes, in these countries mostly. So we have Shafi mazhab. Shafi mazhab common in Far East Asia, Levant, it's Syria and this area, Palestine and Iraq as well, and northeastern Africa. And for example, in Libya, in Egypt, some times, yes, Shafi as well in Caucasus. No. Shafi is a madhab. You see, it was. No, not he. This was done before. No. I doesn't have the timing, but it's from centuries before. The first of about 300 years after the death of our Prophet ﷺ, Imam Abu Hanifa came. After him, Shafi, Maliki, probably at the same time. And the last one was Imam Hanbali, Ahmad ibn Hanbal. It's I think from now it's 600 years before or something like this. Yeah, exactly. So you see the countries which is now, for example, these mazhabs now present in these countries, but actually not of all of these countries, for example, now that they are now in the territory of Imam Hanbali or Shafi, mostly in Arab world, they doesn't know what their mazhab is actually. So interpretation of Sharia for the Islamic financial centers, main parts, Middle East, Far East, and Iran. So in Islamic finance, in Islamic economy, we can differentiate between three main schools or three main directions of Sharia in terms of Islamic finance. So this is a Middle Eastern school or Middle Eastern direction of understanding of and the practice of Islamic finance, and we have Far Eastern direction, and this, for example, Malaysia, Indonesia, and these countries, they, for example, have some different view on some Sharia and some Islamic finance practice, and Iran as well. Mazhab, Malaysians is Shafi, you see, Far East. Okay? Any question? Okay, everything is clear?
Before it was more than 4 schools.
Of course.
Currently, we know only 4 of them.
Yeah, we should to mention, yes, that we have more than 4 mazhabs actually, but these 4 mazhabs now, they still most popular, yes, and most common. For example, for Shia, they have 2 schools as well. even in Iran, they have two different understanding of Sharia and practices of Islamic finance as well. So they have Jafari. They also call it the 12th Imam. They call it 12th Imam. So it's mostly in Iran, Iraq, and Lebanon. And they have Zaidi Mazhab, we can say it, in Shia. Zaidi mostly popular in Yemen. For example, in this also, they have a different kinds of schools and Sharia understanding. Okay, so now what I would like to say, we will go to the next slide, and there we will answer to your question before. So for example, nowadays, what Islamic institutions go to some sources? How, to where they go to get their information? It's they really need, for example, muftiyat in this case, to know, for example, some sukuk structure, because actually it's not business of muftiyat, of Muslim administration, to go to the muftiyat and to explain them some banking and finance issue. So at this time, to where practitioner people, banks, or we can go to know what is this instrument or other one, and what is its components and how it works. Yes, everything already done and already given by some organization. What we have now in, it's not all, of course, but it's the main standard stated organization which gives us already very sophisticated, very easy, so much understandable standards in Sharia understanding. In order to know how Mudaraba, how Musharaka, how other products is working, we will not go to the Quran to see where is it, and to Sunnah, to other things. We go to the standards, ready standards of the organization, which is already prepared everything, and make it very. Yes. Yes. And when we will go to this organization, we will call it one by one. So, for example, yes, you are right. For example, in order to know the accounting and auditing things and standards about Sharia and some principles, we go to IOFI, Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Finance Institutions. In order, for example, for some regulatory framework, for some Sharia board components, how it consists of this Sharia board, who is working there, what is the requirements to be a Sharia scholar, we're going to Islamic Financial Service Board. This organization provides the standards for regulators, like central banks. For example, they're giving the ready rules, tools, how, for example, to deal with the Islamic financial institutions, with the banks. For example, everything is given there. And all, of course, IOFI, IFSB, all of them use it, the existing, for example, IFRS. Yes, IOFI, very similar to IFRS. So they're using the same understanding in order to be very flexible and be understandable. To do not create something new, to be very similar and very easy, for example, to people who know IFRS, MCFO, yeah, in order to apply it and to using IOFI standards. You see, the same thing for the Islamic Financial Service Body, IFSB. They're using, for example, Basel, and using IOSCO. Yes, IOSCO. So, yes. So it's very similar. No, they using the same understanding, but in Sharia way. You see. For example, also we have International Islamic Fiqh Academy. This organization mostly using the Quran, Sunnah, and giving fatwas fatwas for some situation. For example, riba issues, something what is related to the everyday life of the Muslims, and they give the ready answers, ready solutions to how to, for example, to deal with in different, you see, different situation. For example, I buy a car. What can I rent it, or can I sell it again to the place from where I buy it, and so on and so on.
We need to have a
Branch of this organization. Actually, we have a good relations with IOFI, ISRA, and IFSB, and of course, International Islamic Fiqh Academy. It's mostly should have a relation with our Muslims administration, our Muftiyat. Yes, because it's mostly their yes, their relation. Yes. Yeah, yes, of course. They have their some special issues to solve, but this International Islamic Fiqh Academy can help our Muftiyat in some cases. Maybe Muftiyat is not so much aware. You see, especially in Islamic finance, in economy, in these financial things, because this organization is most advanced in this. You see, and for example, ISRA, it's based in Malaysia. Also, they have a very good and very famous Islamic scholars, Shariah scholars inside of it. So approximately all of Shariah scholars who is sitting in Shariah board of IOFI and IFSB, they are members of ISRA as well. ISRA, IFIM in Malaysia. Okay.
Is it established in our law system that we have to deal with this organization?
Actually, in the National Bank, we tried, for example, some of rules in banking law to be, for example, very close to IOFI and to some of others to IFSB, but they create own understanding of rules, because in their understanding they have to be translated to our traditional understanding of law itself, you see, because it's Kazakh Russian language. They adopted it, but not so far. But in, for example, in IFSB, in AFC, in Astana International Financial Center, we will use IOFI and IFSB standard as is. So we will take it as it is from IOFI and we'll put it here in AFC, Astana International Financial Center, MFCA. So, for example, for us, it's easier to do not create something new, to put new rulings. Why? It's already done, already. Why will not use it? And Islamic financial institutions, it's more comfortable to use something is common known, yes, and well known, and to use it in their practice, and very sophisticated and very easy to understand. Yeah.
And if you teach it so this kind of rules and it's sent to National Bank?
If they, of course, will ask or they will need for some comments and some help. Of course, for example, this Shariah board, centralized Shariah board that we discussed before, it will help not only for AFC, it will service all Kazakhstan actually, because this will be very well advanced and very well known and famous Sharia scholars who will sit in this centralized Sharia board. And of course, if they need, they will every time ask and ask the question and comments of this centralized Sharia board. Yeah, please.
You will adopt this IOFI standard in
Yes, AFC.
What about the English law?
English law?
How it will be connected or
Actually,
work?
yes. As you remember, English law, it's open. It's not something solid or something is not accepting. English law, they easily, because these standards already done by English language first. Yes, it's IOFI based in Bahrain actually, and they have about 200 Islamic financial institutions as a members, and about 20 countries already adopted standards of IOFI in their financial laws and the legislation. And it's very common and very well known. And I'm more than sure that, for example, in Britain itself, the
This standard was written according to the English
law. Actually, no. It's of course it's
in accounting.
Hmm?
Accounting, yes.
accounting and auditing.
So
No, it's mostly as I explained it to you before. It's mostly close to IFRS. You know IFRS? IFRS. MT4.
IFRS is it's from
Yes.
Europe.
Yes, from from the Western, at least countries. You see, so it's already there. You see, so Britain and other countries where the English law presented in these countries, Malaysia, you see, UAE, and other English colony. Yes. All of these countries, they actually using English law, and IOFI and IFSB standards so very well, yes, adopted there and working there. You see, yeah.
One more question. From which countries this organization?
Okay.
IOFI is from Bahrain.
Yes, IOFI Bahrain. Of course, we cannot say that they are Bahrain and the people working in IOFI from Bahrain. No. Only the headquarters of this organization is in Bahrain. But actually, the people who are working there from all over the world. The first. Secondly, it's, for example, these two organizations, IOFI and IFSB, it's they supported by the Islamic Development Bank, which IDB, which is at the time also the member of, not member, financial tool of Islamic organization, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIS, you see? So OIS, it's including all of 57 countries with Islamic population, you see, with Muslims. So it means this organization, they only sitting in Bahrain, International Islamic Fiqh Academy sitting in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia, IOFI sitting in Bahrain, in Manama, ISRA sitting in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia, and the Islamic Financial Service Board, IFSB, also sitting in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. See? Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes. Yes, you are right. Exactly. For example, Muhammad Taqi Osmani, yes, very famous Sharia scholar. He's from Pakistan, but he's sitting in and head of Sharia board of IOFI. So it means it's international organization actually, not local, not dependent on country.
Is there a central bank of World Islamic banks? Does it exist?
World Islamic Bank?
Yes.
It's a centralized financial bank which was regulated like all Islamic banks.
From the banking perspective, I think no, because it's yes, it couldn't be, yes.
Couldn't be because every country has its own legislation which
Yeah.
regulated by this.
Yeah, we have just standards, and you are free to use this standard or not to use it.
It's like a gap or more related to states,
Yeah.
countries, and America,
Yes.
South and North.
Yes.
And the rest mostly for Eurasian.
Yes, you're right.
There was a weak Islamic wiki.
Mm-hmm.
That has
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
who would you tell them to go to Kazakhstan?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a central, maybe, control organization that tells
Mm-hmm.
only if I think I go to Kazakhstan and
I think it's so, because, for example, as you mentioned, for example, Islamic Business Week, Islamic Week, yes, Islamic Finance Week, what was in Rixas. It's only organized by AFC, and there is some additional, yes, from Malaysia and from Bahrain. There was Bahrain Institution for Islamic and Bank, and from Malaysia it was FAA, Financial Accreditation Agency. So it depends of who is the organizers and who is would like to promote. So it's not actually depend on some central banks or central organization who is developing it. But of course, all of this is by support of Islamic Development Bank, IDB. For example, IDB is very much supportive, and they help a lot of this event as well. Islamic Development Bank, IDB, headquartered in Jeddah as well. Yes, in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah. But actually, now they have a lot of representative offices. Yeah. World Bank. Islamic Development Bank. Yeah, so such organizations like IDB, Islamic Development Bank, of course, their task, their main objective to support, to develop Islamic finance in all over the world, especially in member countries. Huh? Yes, globally, the international financial institution, you see, they help to the government, they help to the private sector as well. They have different members inside of IDB. For example, they have ICD, Islamic Corporation for Development of the Private Sector, and they mainly working with the private sector. So it depends, what help we need, which kind of help we need. They are providing this help. For example, with at FIMI, yes, we know they are from Pakistan. Okay.
Member countries.
Mm-hmm.
And the headquarters is located in Istanbul.
In Istanbul. Okay.
And our institution was a member of this association, and we together each year held seminars or training, conference on topics of Islamic finance, some microfinancing.
Very good. So such kind of organization, we have a lot of yes, I know. So yes, we have some letters, I think, from ATFIMI. They would like to cooperate. Of course, we are open to cooperate with all. So ATFIMI. Yes. So at FIMI, they were welcome to Kazakhstan, and I know they organized some seminar in September, I think, in Almaty. Are you together? Yes. So you see, there is a lot of organization, a lot of sites who are helping to promote and to develop the industry in the world. So actually now we have, I think, we have some questions, and if we would like to have some quiz. I suppose you to, for example, to divide to the 2 or 3 groups. What do you like? Okay, 3 groups, and each group will have their own quiz, and then we will have some discussions, and to make it more practice and more useful to understand. So if you would like to change your seats, or to cooperate, or you, for example, these 2 lines, these 2 lines, for example, one group, and or seats, whatever you want to cooperate and divide by yourself, please have your, feel free how you will organize it, okay? What? Hard copy? Another one?
Yeah, because
Uh-huh. It's already the same. Huh? Of course, this up to you. So what you see the better, and what you see the more right answer, you can choose. If, for example, you see that the better answer is one, okay, you can choose one. If you see that better answer is, for example, 2 or 3, of course. Somebody is ready? You are ready? Okay, so let's begin. Actually, here the quiz is not as you have it in your hands, but no problem. Okay, can you give me a sample? Okay, this is yours, yes? And we have another one, yeah? No. This will be still with you, and give me one. Yeah, okay, this is mine. Okay, so for the first question, what is your answers? Select one correct answer. Sharia is deducted from Quran, Sunnah, Salah, Ijma, Ijtihad. What is right? A, B, D, E. And in your case, the same, yes? Okay, you are right. So the second question, select the correct answer, because in some it will be not correct. The 4 schools of Islamic law are Hanafi, okay, B, C, D, C, what about C? No. What about D? Not D. Except D. Okay, and here is as well. Okay, Makki, there is no mazhab. It's called Makki. Select the correct answer. 3. Sunnah is A. No. Saying of the Prophet. Why no? Okay. B. Approvals. Yes. 3. Actions. Yes. D. Consensus. Consensus. Yes. And here? No. And who is right? You remember consensus when we speak about, Yes, except D. Yes, because consensus is a secondary. You remember? Source of Sharia. Source. And by this, 1 point here, okay? And question number 4, select the correct answer. Ijtihad is the primary source of Sharia? Wrong. IOFI was registered in Algiers? No. Where? Manama? Bahrain. C. The IFSB is situated in Bahrain? In Malaysia. Why you not answering? And D. The difference of the 4 schools of Islamic law mainly center of branches of the jurisprudence rather than the fundamental principles of belief. D. Here, D as well, Okay, so the A, B, C is not right. Okay, so we have some group is going to be leader. Okay, the second kind of the question. Okay, this will need from you. Actually, this is what we have here as well. So we're ready to begin, and there is no chance to make any correction after we will begin here, because this part, you're finished as well. Huh? Okay, let's go. So the first question, the final revelation is Quran, and letter Q. Right. Second question, the second pillar of Islam. Salah, X, right. The first prophet sent to men? Noi, and here? And what about R? No, I don't know. You should to answer. Huh?
It's the first prophet, not sentiment, just first prophet.
Okay.
There's no any other man.
Okay. But the first prophet sent to man.
If you want, we can choose Muhammad, for example.
Uh-huh. No. It's of course, Muhammad is not the first prophet. Huh? Okay. Uh-huh. Yes, sent to man. Yes, you're right. Adam. Noah. Noah, but of course there was additional prophets before him. I think this question we should to think about addition, because Adam, of course, the first prophet at all, but sent to man, this is the issue. Okay. Islam means
Well-known path.
well-known path. T. You are sure? Submission to one God. Huh? So you answered T, and this team U. This team is win. You is right. Okay. Question number 6. There is approximately 20 million Muslims in China, and here China as well. Okay. Why not Saudi Arabia?
There is no such population.
Okay. Okay. More. Okay. But they are Muslims or not? Okay. Okay. Why not India? More than 20 million. Yeah.
300 or 400 million.
Yeah.
Rajasthan only is about 200 million Muslims.
200.
Rajasthan state.
Mashallah. Okay. Yes, the right answer is G, which is China. Okay. Question number 7. Ijma is consensus. Here. Okay. And letter K. Yes. Yeah, you are right. Question number 8. Food permissible for Muslims? I. Yes, you are right. Question number 9. Sharia literally means a water hole, and this well-known path. T. The right answer is H. Yes, a water hole. It means источник. Yeah. Okay. Al-muamalat is commercial dealing here. Commercial dealing. Right. So 1-1, huh? Okay. Ijtihad is reasoning, and here J, reasoning as well. Okay, you are right. School of Islamic law. W. And here Hanafi. What do you think? Yes, you are right. L. You put L? Okay. Yes. 2-1. And the last choice. But not I think there is no chance. Okay. IIFA is N. Yes. Okay. So thank you for the first part. Yes, we finish it. Yes, okay. Now we will have lunch and then come to here at 2 o'clock, inshallah. Okay? Thank you very much. Huh? Lunch, actually, unfortunately, we now a guest of Kazgu, yes. And Kazgu, yes. The second time, inshallah, we will have coffee break. So let's continue our second part of today's election. It's most deeper understanding of fiqh and its sum of part, which is called muamalat al-maliyah. So we will have a principle of muamalat, and we will know what about the ownership and elements of the contract. All of this is the parts of muamalat, fiqh al-muamalat, and as we and we will mention it now. This is Islamic inter-sites, interrelation operation, and so on. And of course, we will speak about the most common, most well-known prohibitions in muamalat, which is the riba and gharar. Okay, let's start. So, as we explained before, muamalat is the dealings, maliyah monetary. So, muamalat maliyah, it means monetary operation or monetary dealings. So, we closely coming to Islamic finance to understand the specific of Islamic finance. So, we will speak about muamalat maliyah, and in order to understand what is monetary dealings in Islamic finance, we should to cover two main things. Actually, there is others, and this others is including of two of these. It's milkiyah, ownership, and aqd, contract. Okay, if any questions? So now very important thing, we came to the basic, and we came to the understanding of the principle of muamalat, and actually this is the principle of Islamic economy as well. So what we, how can we identify what is the Islamic economy and what is the muamalat and what is the Islamic banking principles and rules based on this principle? It will be rules, of course. So the underground fundamentals of our relations with Islamic finance and Islamic economy is here. So the first thing, the freedom of contract, Shariah al-Taqud. It means anybody, of course, with a specific terms and conditions, can incite to the contract. Second, freedom from price control. So, you know, some of you know the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when the Sahaba asked him to specify the prices to everything, every commodities that they have. The Prophet tells them, no, we will not specify. We will not fix the prices. Let these prices be on the market. So it will depend on demand and supply. Yes.
How to connect with oligopoly, monopoly, and transferring на образование?
Education on transfer of technology. Of course, it's some additional thing what we may speak about, yes, additionally. But all of these things actually related very much. So the freedom of the price control and freedom to deal, this is our rights of the human, rights of the Muslims, rights of the who entering in the Islamic finance, Islamic economic relations, they have these rights. So for example, some sites could not control or could not face or force of any participants of these deals to, for example, to have you obliged to have this contract and you will have these obligations. No, it's up to parties. So one party should be accept and another party should be accept, and it will be adequate and it would be equal. Okay, so third thing is risk sharing. Al-ghunmu bil-ghurmi. This is a very important statement in Islamic Sharia, in fiqh al-muamalat. So it means al-ghunmu, something you have to benefit, your profit. Al-ghunmu bil-ghurmi. It means risk. So you could not have any profit, any income, any increase on your, for example, if you have some principal, you could not earn anything more than this without risks. Yes, so it means you, if you would like to have any income, additional income, you should to risk. If there is no risk, it means directly to something which we will have later on. So this is what we actually mentioned. This is the riba. So freedom from riba, usually. So the dealings, transaction in Islamic finance should be free of riba, riba free. And usually is a very well-known ростовщичество, you know. So usually it's forbidden in Islam. So usually, yes. And fifth is freedom from gharar. And gharar is no uncertainty. So something is not well known or information is well understandable. It will say what that it is uncertainty and will cause the gharar in the dealings. The sixth one is avoidance of hoarding. Hoarding, it means keeping money and do not spend, do not invest. Yes, to calculate and to accumulate the money, but not invest, not work with this money. Only to yes. This is prohibited. Yes. No, not deposit. Deposit is investment. You see. This means only you take your money and you keep it in your home, and you not put it in the project. You not work with this capital. You see, it's
only right toward money or any property.
Actually, yes, you are right. It's not about money. This it means any assets you have. Yes, any properties you have. Yeah. And seventh principles, of course, last not least, because there is a lot of other principles, it's avoidance of selling forbidden items, which is mean haram items. So I think here everything is understandable, clear. But if you have any question, please.
For avoidance of hoarding, you mean if I don't...
Накопление. Накопление.
But if I don't want to put this money into
actually, hoarding, it's not only saving, but it's something make additional. Yeah, yes, to make it much more, you see. To do not invest, to do not use this money. For example, if you make some saving, for example, to buy, for example, home, to make something good in the future, yes, or you keeping it to your child, or you have some aim, have some idea how to use it. It's not hoarding here. It means yes, unaimed, without any aim, without anything hoarding. Only keeping money with you and do not spend it and invest it. Even you have no idea what you will do with this money.
We're talking about not about financial, but it's about social as well.
Yes,
just keeping money from distribution to society.
As well, yes. If there is some need and you, for example, not spend it to this, and we have other principle. If you remember hardship, where there is some hardship, some needs of the society, of even on your friend, of family, relatives. But you don't spend it. It's also we will try to avoid it in Islamic transactions. Yes. So it's not only in Islamic finance, in economy, in our life. You see, this is the main general principles in muamalat transactions. Okay.
Question about the second point.
Okay.
Rights control means that to avoid a
monopoly. Yes. In this, it's a monopoly. We mean monopoly. We mean speculation as well. For example, for some big organization, big monopolist who has ability to, for example, to play. You mean which yellow pages?
Freedom from price control. I mean, for example, big corporation and SME companies.
Okay. Yes. There is no yes equal yes.
Equal conditions of employment.
Yes, as well. So it means mostly in economic when the one side playing with the price and force other parties to be, you see, to affect by this pricing of control. Of course, why somebody will control the price? In order to increase something. Yes. And this increasing is not sufficient, not something that it should be done, but this is only artificial from the one side who would like to increase prices using their capabilities, using their money, use their power and something. Yes. It means
So the definition of
muamalat, transaction, dealings, yes. What you use to do in your life. It can be even something you deal with your neighbor, for example, with your people who is, yes, with your colleagues.
So this is
your
more like for SMEs, not for the big transactions.
It can be big transaction as well. So muamalat, any dealing between partners.
Between people,
Yes.
between entities.
Yes, every dealing between any partners, different parties, it will bring us to the muamalat. So muamalat, dealings in general. Okay. Go. Так. Okay. So now we in previous slide we spoke about the ownership. So these two components of any muamalat dealing, it should have two components. The one component is ownership. So in this particular case, when we speak about Islamic finance relations, Islamic finance dealings, economic dealings, it should be ownership, presence in this transaction, in this cooperation. So milkiya, ownership, or plural milkiya, mulk, singular, defines property of assets of a person for his disposal. So this property should be owned by one of parties, and this property should be for their disposal. And it may be an object holding more than mere property rights. So one object can be owned by different parties. You see, for example, there is sukuk. Sukuk holders, they own assets. Own sukuk, for example, company issued sukuk, and sukuk holders, they by this sukuk, holding of sukuk, they own this property. You see? Yes. So it means there is a one owner or many owners of one property. It also can be gifts in Sharia. So we say that mulk can be like a physical object, physical asset, mal, actually in Arabic mal. Mulk can be usufruct, something what we can have some, yes, from the ijara, for example. It means usufruct, and we have services, khidamat. So mulk, it's not only properties, assets, it also services, and can be a usufruct as well. Usufruct, not leasing, you see, when you have some rights to have a, for example, rent. When you rent some, for example, house for you, living in this house, this is a usufruct. You see? For example, I'm owner of this house, but you owner of living in this house. So this living, this is a usufruct. Yes. Yeah. Нематериальный, он более, скажем, Да, на пользование. То есть это не какой-то... То есть его потрогать нельзя, у вас право пользования. Но вы можете этим пользоваться, соответственно, вы получаете какую-то для себя выгоду от этого.
Если дословно, то собственность, владение и имущество.
То есть это подразумевает под собой, да, вот эти все вещи. Но имеется в виду, здесь вы получаете какую-то выгоду. Вот, то есть вы не получаете права на собственности как таковой. То есть это не ваша квартира. Да, что-то вроде лицензии, пользование чем-либо. Это считается usufruct. Okay? Is it clear now? Okay. Any question? Okay, go forward. Yes, it's mainly using in leasing transaction. Yeah. So when we speak about muamalat transaction, muamalat when it comes, so it will be some components. Muamalat will consist of some things which should be there. So first is the parties. To have a muamalat, you should to have two parties at least. So person can make any muamalat with himself. It should be two partners, two sides, two parties. You see, the first of this it's parties. The second is subject matter. Some asset. Some, as we mentioned now, mal, usufruct, khidmat. So it should be some subject matter. Something what they're speaking about. Yes, can be delivered or can be something. For example, two person who does not any relation with each other, they haven't any muamalat. When it's come to some specified things, one buyer, other is seller. One would like to have some service or anything. Two parties who have to deal with each other at that time, and there is a subject matter. At that time, muamalat will become. And of course, there should be some very important thing. It's the offer and acceptance. Without two things, also transaction could not be, because two parties as well, and they have something, and one party would like to have this thing, but another party who is owner is not selling. I don't know. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to give it. So there is no offer. Of course, there is no acceptance, and there is no dealing. It should be from two sides, and it should be with mutual acceptance. Okay, please.
Can we say that muamalat can be between two persons? One person lives today, but he will die. I mean the will, наследники.
It's third kind of, we doesn't mention the kind of muamalat and kind of fiqh, but there is a third part of fiqh which related to this. It's munakahat, and the third part is наследие. Yes. So at that part we can speak about this will or something. Yeah. It's also muamalat, you are right, but not entering in this kind of muamalat. So this muamalat malaya, it should be something between this. And two parties who is now existing partners, now present, and nothing more with the future or any else situation. It should be here, it should be very existing and delivering, and the subject matter should present as well. Okay? So go to the conditions of this muamalat. First of all, it should to have a capacity of person to the justice act. It means the parties who is involved in muamalat transaction should be ahliya, should have ahliya. It means capacity to act. For example, child could not act because they haven't enough ability to enter in the transaction. For example, man who is ill, for example, yes, who is not can manage the situation, they also cannot enter in this transaction. So specific term. So here, for example, we will speak about the parties who is have sane sane. It means it should be man, for example, yes, not child, and it have to be mature. It means yes, to understand, to have a decision. Yes, you are right, and to have a capability to decision. Okay, so the second thing is object, subject matter. So we explained it before. So it should be some asset, some usufruct, some service between two parties. The third part of this muamalah transaction is act. So it should be some act between two parties. So for example, it expresses intention of offering party to other part with proprietary rights, to part with other party, to give it to other. It will be will, and it should to have a capability and desire to change money, for example, to the something. So it should be some act between two parties. And fourth component of this is consent of all concerning party is necessary. So all of party should be satisfied. For example, if some party will be forced or they don't like to sell, but they force it to sell, this contract will be not valid.
Because they haven't freedom of contract.
Yeah, yes, because this is our first and biggest principle of transaction, freedom of the contract. Yeah, you are right. So any question till now? Yes, please have your time to think. Okay, let's have some examples from Quran and Sunnah. So, for example, when we speak about offer and acceptance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, "O you who believe, not eat up your property among yourself by unlawful means, except that it will be trading by you mutual consent." So, do not eat from each other, it means, only by your mutual consent. You see? Okay, so if there is no question right now, we go further. So now we will speak about main and very well-known prohibition in Islam, which is a riba. So riba have different explanation and definitions from the different schools, but in brief, riba is translated as an excess or unjust increment. It means increase. So unjust. If anything which is logic for some increase of the money, you can judge it. You can judge it by yourself. For example, if you see, so there is some contract or some transaction or some dealing between two parties, and one party gives to other something and have some awards, and this award is logical, not so much, not so big. It could be riba, of course, and could not be riba. By your judge, you can see where is the riba. Riba something is much more than logic, more than usual. What we see that is not justified, not yes, there is no logic and there is no social. For example, we will speak about this social.
So this is like extra or
Yeah.
more than?
Yes, something extra, something is not. Взятничество тоже. So it's entering in riba. But in fact, riba, we will speak now about this more closely. The Prophet ﷺ, he defined riba as every loan that draws interest, benefit. So it means, first, it should be loan. Loan. By loan, we understand that this is the money. Because, for example, if it's not money, not cash, for example, some things, property, for example, sometimes grain entering in riba transaction, but in fact, whatever it's not money, we could not expect that there is riba can be. Riba mostly coming with money, with the cash. So this cash that draws interest. So if there is a loan, there is a transaction between two parties, and one party gives to other party money, cash, and this cash awards some interest, some benefit, some increase in the sum, it can define us, and it can gives us understanding of riba. Okay, are you clear with this? Okay, so riba now we can classify riba by two parties. This is the riba nasiya and riba al-fadl. We will go. Okay. So, what is the difference between riba nasiya and riba al-fadl? Of course, the reason, or the how can we say, the origin of different things can cause to the riba nasiya or to the riba al-fadl. For example, in the riba nasiya, it's described any excess over the principal amount paid, which is charged for the delay in repayment. Yes, something like additional money, and for example, yes, pennies, yes, some claims, everything we can say that this is a riba nasiya. So any money which changed its amount by the time, so it will be some components. First, it should to be some amount. Second, it should be some increase, and third, it should be in time. So if there is three things we haven't with us, it will give us understanding that this is a riba nasiya. So if, for example, some of these three things will not appear here, so there is no riba nasiya. For example, the money in time not changed, no riba nasiya in time. For example, you give for somebody 100 or 1,000 tenge. After 1 month, he give you 1,000 tenge. Yes, there is money, there is a time, but there is no increasing in the amount. So there is no riba. For example, of course, time is we will speak about in riba al-fadl, but this is component. It's whereas another things will come further. For yes, please.
Sorry, about the discount price for the money.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to invest something, yes.
Okay.
It will be a very low.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, how
Mm-hmm.
you will calculate it with discontinuing.
Mm-hmm. You mean present value, or something will increase, or something will maybe decrease? In this situation, you mean, or where? What?
For example, когда мы сон проект
Okay. Okay. You mean about the cost of money? Yes. Real cost of money? No. This is a different issue. Okay, please.
Before we told,
Okay. Later, please.
before it was told that is it acceptable to charge extra fine?
Yeah, fine.
The person in order to discipline.
Yes.
Yes, and this is the same situation.
Same situation, but this ruling coming before the second one, the first one that we mentioned before, because the second one is exception. It's something, yes, we make it advanced thing. You see, this is the rule, general. But in case there is delay and there is some, okay, we will come step by step. So there is delay and there is no payment at the time, as was agreed from beginning. Other ruling should to come, and this ruling will say, okay, if we will need to discipline the first party or the second party who is should to pay. We make this increasing in value by fine, for example. But this money, extra money, is it increasing in excess from the principal amount? From the principal amount, you will take this fine for you?
No, the first time we use for charity.
For charity, you see. So this money, even it will increase, but the provider of the money will not benefit by this. You see. So the component of time, everything is there, but no increasing. You will take your money from the second party, but second party now, the second party will pay more. First, he will close the principal money, and he will pay fine, but this fine will go to the charity. Okay. So this is the riba nasiya, riba al-fadl, and this kind of riba is more we can say complicated, because it need to think, to think about more closely. So riba al-fadl describe it as an unequal exchange or sale of specified commodities. These specified commodities like a gold, silver, barley, wheat, salt, and dates. But of course, these 6 components was at the time of our Prophet ﷺ. But now we have something other, and here we can, by analogic, by qiyas, we can say everything which have the same aims, same principle of these kinds, gold, silver, barley, wheat, salt, and dates, if there is a similarity, these things can come and be entering also in this transaction. But of course, it's not this similarity we could not judge by ourselves. Yes, but we can make some parallels and know, for example, if gold and silver now is the money, for example, the same principle. So what is the gold and what is the silver? And something which is valid, and this kinds of the have its own value and can be exchange. Yes, subject of exchange. For money, the same thing of this gold and silver, for example. So the word is what we can say, and the specific commodities could not be unequal exchange of this. Also, it depends on the money. By this, when we speak about riba nasiya, and for example, there is a money, 1,000 tenge, and there is no time. Hand by hand, you give to one person 1,000 tenge, and he will give you 1,500, for example. This increase is an equal exchange. You see? So by this transaction and this kind of riba, it will be not riba nasiya, but it will be riba al-fadl. Okay? Maybe some water? Okay.
You said 1,000 and 1,500 as a person.
No, it mean, for example, we are two now. At the present time, there is no time change, and I give you 1,000 tenge, and you give me 1,500, without any reason. So this exchange, it will refer to us as riba al-fadl. It's prohibited, yes, because this is a riba. And this kind of riba is not riba nasiya, because there was no time. For example, if I give you 1,000 now, and after months you will bring me 1,500, it will be riba nasiya, yes? But in our situation, what is a spot at the same time, and there is increase of the sum, it will refer us to the riba al-fadl.
Depends on time.
Yes, the time, this is the issue, yeah.
Riba al-fadl is limited by this commodity.
So I am trying to explain that not only these commodities. By qiyas, we can understand that everything which is similar to these things. So what is a barley? Barley, it mean barley. It means some kind of grain that can be kept on the time. So, for example, wheat, also the same. Have you any other examples of such properties? Corn, for example, also corn can stay with you. Other? Yes, sugar, for example, salt like a sugar. It also can be kept with you. Dates, any kind of, okay, fruits.
Question about the riba. Both forms are prohibited.
Yes, of course, both forms are prohibited. What we would like to make you understand now, what is the difference between two kinds of riba. So when you will, for example, see some transaction and somebody will tell you this is no riba, but you can explain it. This is a riba, but this is not riba that you understand. That's this time like a banking loan, yes, banking credit. This is a riba nasiya, yeah. But riba al-fadl, other kinds, and this kinds is also, yes, please.
I know recently
Mm-hmm.
people said that they can use such kind of tools like Casperette because there are some dates. I don't know exactly, but I think it's 3 months, and you should pay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say that I pay for this.
Before this, yes.
Yeah, and I'm not doing
Delay.
haram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what is the
Yes, in this situation, yes. What is it? Is Iran? We can judge on this transaction by the contract. Of course, these people have a contract, and everything is written there. So, if one of the clauses, one of the terms of this contract will say that there is a riba, there is something should be paid, and this sum will accumulated by riba, by riba nasiya way. So, for example, after 3 months, you will pay, for example, some extra money, and this is because this cost or this was coming from the time. Yes, for using this money in time, for example, more than 3 months, and there was some, for example, 50, 30, 45, whatever it will be, percent payable after this time. By this sentence, by this clause, by these terms, this contract will be not valid.
so
Even if you will not, for example, wait for 3 months and you sure and you confident that you will pay before 3 months, but by this clause, by this term, this contract is not valid. It will not valid. Okay? Please.
Also, example, for example, in brokerage, customs brokerage field, when you, for example, bought goods from the China, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and this commodity or goods is in terminal,
Mm-hmm.
temporary terminal,
Mm-hmm.
and you have also some interest from the customs control is
Okay.
that is there, and then, yes, and then
Mhm.
how you
Mm-hmm.
solve this situation
Mm-hmm.
in Islamic finance.
Okay. From Islamic perspective, you will see this delay, for example, for what? For money or for your usefruct? Yes, for your using of rights of somebody, place, time, and money as well. This will be Sharia compliant because there is no money entering this. This only commodities, time, and commission, what everybody should to pay. So this is not related to riba issues, for example. Maybe there is other issues, what we will take it now. But in general, there is no problem with Sharia. This fines, this money to pay it for the, for example, yes, it should be paid. Yes. Custom control, whatever. You see.
So everything is gender bending.
Yeah, judgment. Yes, by logic, you can see what these things is should to pay, you will pay.
For example, in first penalty can be
Mhm.
riba
Yes.
or can be riba.
Yes, at the same time.
Due
It
to
can.
the terms.
Terms, yes. The terms is actually very important. And some, for example, what we call it, формальности, some things, yeah, formals. What we should to follow, it should be like this. You see, for example, even in marriage situation, there is some rules. Yes. For example, if you will not follow these rules, it will be from haram, from halal, it can turn to haram. So, but only rules is a very important thing, yani, to follow it. You see. So, if, for example, this the husband will go to the parents, yes, to the mahram of this of wife, and will ask, and this is the rules. You see, this is the steps. And every step you should to pass this step, and all of this give us formality of this transaction. So in any other transaction we can judge by this. You see, if there is some steps, some rules that should be followed, it should be followed. And if some components will, for example, not present and will not achieved, so it can push off and make some contract, some deals is not valid. So formality is a very important thing. Of course, formality which it's depends or which requires from Sharia perspective. Okay. Inflation in perspective of Sharia, of course, there is no cost value of money. So money is a money. Today, even after 10 years, it's money. It's only measure to change things. Yes, cost of things may increase, may decrease. Cost of life, yes, cost of everything what we have, tangible assets, usufruct, currency, yes, it can be changed. But the money itself, it doesn't have, yes, it's only exchange. Yes, exchange measure, yes. Medium, yes. Okay.
And after 10 years,
Okay.
should you want to
Yeah. Even those.
Even for example,
Even,
for example,
okay.
yesterday or one half year ago,
Mhm.
yes, I took from you, yes, from Bitcoin,
Mhm.
$1,000.
Mhm.
Now it's 700 or $7,500.
Yes. You see?
And so I will return you $7,500.
Yes, if you agreed to pay by dollars. But actually, if you give one Bitcoin, after 10 years, after 100 years, he must to give and return to you one Bitcoin. $100, somebody take it before deflation of tenge. After that, and this, for example, 100 was equal, for example, 3,000 tenge. After deflation, it become 10,000 tenge. That is no matter. It should be given by 100 taken and 100 given. Okay, or it's equivalation in tenge. It can be also agreed before. For example, I will give you now $100, and you will give me after 1 year, 2 years, also $100 by tenge. At that time, at the current. No, it's also Sharia compliant situation. Yes.
But at the beginning we should agree.
Yes, agree. There should be agreement, but not like this. Now I will give you $100, which is equal, for example, 1,000 tenge, and after 1 year you will give me 1,000 tenge. No, because the amount, the original amount is $100. You see. So after 1 year, it should be paid all $100 or its equivalation at that time. After 1 year, which will be exchange rate will be at the time, he will give you exact amount. For example,
How you will estimate?
for which purpose? For investment, of course, there is additional tools, but in general, in fact, there is some risks. For example, that Shariah or economy expert, they also entering now in this transaction and will put some estimation, but not using the conventional riba mechanism, but others. And it also suitable in Sharia finance, in Islamic finance as well. So of course, all of these issues is difficult to explain it in one lecture, but it should be more reading in this. You will find that there is some tools, and these Sharia compliant tools, how to deal with inflation, how to deal with for example, exchange rate in the future. So, for example, hedge funds, it's also permitted by Sharia, but the method and methodology, how these hedge funds working, it's different from the conventional hedge funds, how they're working, you see? And understanding of the time cost of or time value of the money, also there's different approaches, different understanding what is about the time value of the money, you see? Yes, of course, logic and everything is. Yeah.
What about conventional deposits? Is it riba and nasi, or it's
Okay, please give us the answer if you have. What do you think? Conventional deposit. Which kind of riba? Riba fadl or riba nasiya?
Because there was a delay in time, it will be riba nasiya. Delay in time.
Yes?
Because when you give money, some
I was trying to say that the riba is there's a fish amount.
Yes, it's in understanding. Now we're going to the facts. So now we're explaining the real situation. But from the beginning, when we begin to understand what is the riba, of course, the riba in our understanding from the beginning is something huge or something big increase of value. But when Prophet came, he gave us the clear understanding what is the riba. Riba is every loan that draws interest. Every loan can be small, can be big. If it is a loan, if it is a money with a time period, 1 tenge from the 100 or 1,000 tenge, it burn 1 tenge, it should be riba. But of course, there is different approaches. In some situation, for example, as our sisters mentioned, there is some kind of administration expenses. And these administration expenses should be calculated, should be entered in this transaction. But this is some additional thing which should have additional explanation, you see? So, for example, in some cases, 1,000 tenge after 1 year may become 1,020 tenge. But this 20 tenge is the administration cost of operational thing of this money transaction. You see? So this cost can be approved by Sharia.
It's commission.
Like commission. You see?
What cost? You gain money.
But
The people work, get salary.
Им же зарплату будет надо платить. И чтобы вот эти все расходы покрыть, там, банк, он дополнительную сумму как-то сверху ставит. Но это не как процентная ставка, а просто покрытие расходов.
commission, right? No. Now we speak about not deposit. This is other case. When we speak, this was a loan from Islamic Development Bank to, for example, to government of Kazakhstan. For example, at that time, they or the government give to the companies, yes, or to 2%, yes, 2%. They make this administration cost. is not time value, not increasing in time. This something else. This is commission. Okay, we will perhaps we will come to this, but I'm not sure in our today's lecture. But these things is additionally what. Now we're speaking in general. Okay, we're speaking in general, but we have some additional thing, some extension, some things would not, for example, coming in as in general. So this only, for example, Sharia people, they can judge and tell, okay, in this situation, because of this reason, we can put some amount, and this amount can be calculated like a given amount or like a person. For example, 2% in this situation. You see? So this increase of money is Sharia compliant increase, because there is some reasons to be to come and to enter in this transaction. But in situation of deposit, there is other tools should be used in order to also there is some banking deposits also Sharia compliant. There is some tools, for example, how to put money in bank, for example, in Islamic bank in our situation, and this Islamic bank will give you dividends to your money. So your money will be not those money that you put, that principal that you put it in the beginning, but there is some income. But how this income will calculated? By way of riba nasiya or investment things, which is a mudaraba and musharaka and wakala. This is a different issue, you see? So increasing in money, applicable, allowed. Increasing in money, allowed. But by which way? This is the difference. For what we speak about the formality, yes? Step-by-step issues or some rules, what is written, this is a very important things, you see? Okay. Okay.
There's a tender, yes?
Okay.
Or budget of tender is 1 million tenge.
Okay.
For a specific product. The product cost is 100,000 tenge.
Okay.
And there's a company which put a price for 1 million, it wins. So the marginal cost is 900%.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is income. Mm-hmm.
Is it riba al-fadl or it's okay?
Of course, this is not riba al-fadl because this is a very different thing. But who makes the tender? Who manages the tender? And if, for example, company which wins the tender by $1 million, in time what is the tender actually and scope of work cost only 100, for example, it not depend on riba or something injustice income. It's going to the who is managing, and you see this tender. It should be wrong there. So there is some increase of money, but this increase of money not related to the riba. This is other issues. You see.
The thing that yes, it's not related.
Not directly. Yes.
Idea.
Mm-hmm. It's similar.
You feel that a little bit it's not fair.
Yes.
Say
Fair.
your price is one of
Yes. Actually, fair. When we speak about the principles of Sharia, principles of Islamic transaction, principles of Islamic economy, we spoke about the transparency, about the justice, about the how to make everything is equal, and at the same time, there is no. It should be fair. It should be no, for example, speculation and no monopoly. So everything this you can, for example, Sharia people, they can take their decision what is Sharia compliant or not non-compliant, depends on these rules. But at the end, these things it's not related to riba nasiya and riba al-fadl. It's other things that also may be prohibited from the Sharia perspective, but not in this issue. Okay? So what is the main idea of riba al-fadl? Everything with the exchange of gold to gold, silver to silver, barley to barley, it should be at the same weight. You see, quantity should be the same and immediate possession. So hand by hand and one time. What? Quality in this situation, gold and silver, we speak about the weight. For example, whatever you have one big, for example, silver or gold things, and at the other hand, somebody will come with a stone, gold stone, and these two will put it on the on the weight. If it will give the same weight, so it will be exchanged. So it will not see about the quality, about the work, what was given, to make, for example, some kinds from, how we call it, jewelries. Yes, Jordans. So no, it's not depend on is kind or the quality of these things, only in weight. When we speak about the gold and silver, when we speak about the dates, amount.
It depends on the also quality, because we cannot sell the old wheat or old dates for fresh.
When you cannot change it, if it will be different weight, but quality, it doesn't matter. For example, when somebody, and there is a well-known hadith, come to the market, and for example, he have a good fresh dates and would like to exchange it with somebody other to old dates, but who have fresh dates, he tell him that I have fresh, let's change, I will give you 1 kilo, and you will give me, for example, 2 kilo, not fresh. It's riba. It is riba al-fadl. You see, at that time, it will be a riba al-fadl.
Can I ask about gender? And for example, in international companies, if you work there, you should not provide information to the participants of gender, right? But but according to Islam principles, like to whom you should help, like there is a priority, right? Like family, relatives, and friends. And for example, if I work in like international company, then I share information like with my relative and help him, like how it works there.
At that time, yes, this issue can be solved by Islamically. If you remember, we have some principles when we spoke about two things, and two things where is the benefits of these things, and at that time the harm of these things. You see? So if you see, for example, if the benefits, if there is a harm to your company, to your work, and to something will be harmful for you, so any benefits that can give, for example, to your family, to whatever it will be, no. The first, you should to stop the harm for using, to your company as well, to your country as well. For these things, to stop the harms, it's better in your case than, for example, take some benefits. And of course, there is some, politics of your company, so you should to follow this. So, for example, there is, we cannot say for direct answer for yes, it's allowed, or no, this is not allowed. But in general, yes, of course, when you have some, when you, for example, entered in some company or something, you have some obligation. You take this obligation. You should to follow this obligation. This is the first. Okay.
And for example, if you sell not fresh apples,
okay,
it's also as an example.
Not fresh. This will give us, return us to the satisfactory when the selling people and buying people is satisfied from this transaction. You see, if both of you mean exchange? Yes. Yeah, exchange. Yes. If it is exchange, 2 kilo to 2 kilo, whatever. This is not eatable. Actually, the apples, and this is fresh. If, of course, there is acceptance from both parties, for both parties, they are okay, and one party who has, but of course, it's not logic, but perhaps it will, it came, it done. So one party which is satisfied with not good and not good quality apples, and to give 2 kilo, for example, good fresh, if it's okay from the both sides, this kind of the transaction will it will be not riba, fadl there. Okay. So there's the other issues, other rules. Yes, will come. Yes. Okay. So I think here is, of course, if we will go deeper, yes, in this, it will bring a new thinking and new ideas. But in general, if we see that there is a transaction where the two sides would like to exchange, for example, one side, for example, 1 kilo of gold, and other side, for example, 2 kilo of silver, in this situation, is it, yes, is it Sharia compliant? If there is a riba fadl or there is no. So this is a question. Some kind of these questions can be, you can ask and you can think about. In, for example, in this situation, what do you think? 1 kilo gold, 2 kilo, 2 kilo? Acceptable from both sides. Acceptable from both sides. It will be Sharia compliant. Why? Yes. 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 This is the main issue. What is right? There is two different kinds. This is the gold and this is the silver. You see? Not acceptable. If two parties is acceptable and they agree, this is the second issue actually. The first issue which should come. What is this? If it is gold to gold, there is no. Yes, you could not. But if there is gold to silver, gold to barley, gold to wheat, salt, dates, there is no problem, no issue on this. But there is additional thing should be also taken care from. What is it?
The freedom of contract
is okay, but here we have what? Immediate. For example, 1 kilo of gold. For 2 kilo of silver, but not in spot, not at the same time. After 1 month, I will bring for you 2 kilo of silver. In that time, what it will be? It's forbidden because?
Silver is not the same price as it was.
Yes. Because at that time, maybe during 1 month, everything is happening. The silver price down, for example. So this transaction will be not fair. Not fair. For example, because at that time, if they exchange it on spot, from hand to hand, at that time will be okay. For example, the first party can take their silver and make with this silver at that time, at that price, something what this person cannot do with this silver, 2 kilo of silver after 1 month. You see? For example. Okay, please. Yes. Yes. The main issue in this is to save people from потребитель, будь то yes, all of participants who involved in these transactions, in this economic situation, it will be fair to save the fair, the first of objection of Sharia. You see? Okay, please.
For example, here the 1 kilogram of fresh dates and
Okay.
And the price of the fresh is 100 tenge. The wild one is 70, 100 tenge. So if the both sides do some contract that they will exchange, so the owner of the old date give him the
difference between. What do you think it will be possible? It will be Sharia compliant, this transaction at the time? Huh? You didn't listen? Okay. Maybe. Okay, may agree. Other ideas? This question was, and case by case, okay. You see, 1 kilo good dates, 1 kilo not good quality dates. This is this cost 1,000 tenge. This cost 1,700. Okay, exchange, and this one will give difference to this. What do you think? It's fair? Any other replies? Any other ideas?
It's case by case. For example, in Kazakhstan, dates are very expensive. Good dates. In I don't know, in Arabic cultures, the dates is not so very expensive. So 3,000 here and 3,000 there. It's case by case.
No, actually, the rule is here. So if it is forbidden, it means forbidden. In your case, what you should you should to do? You should to sell your dates for 1,000 tenge, then go to your friends and buy from him for the 700 tenge and keep with you your 300 tenge. This is the situation. This is the solution. No way to exchange and to give and such on. Because this is the rule and this is the putting rule. And you see, at the end of the day, the problem will come. Yes. So to do not enter, because this is not our ideas and our people and even Prophet Muhammad. Nobody from us, from the people, reach to put these rules. These rules put by Allah, you see? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows what is better. Yes, and there is the logic, you see? And if you will go and restore more and more, at the end of the day you will know that it's better it's to sell and to buy. You see? Okay.
So it's not, you should not assume.
Yes, because there is a certain rule, certain solution, how you should to deal, you should to obey, you should to follow these rules, you see? And the same, for the 1 kilo of salt should be, for example, changed to 1 kilo of salt and on spot. Not, for example, to delay delivery to, for example, 1 year or 2 years. Even if in money, if, for example, you will buy something now, you should to take it now. Maybe 2-3 days it's upon of contract. Sharia may allow this, yes, but delivering and exchange things should be in spot in general. You see? So what we would like to explain till now. What is your opinion to have some break and turn back? Short break, yes. Yeah. Today we have only till 4. Actually, we have only I think one subject. Yes, after this and.
I think it's
Garar, yes. Garar is very important, and of course we would like to have some quiz as well to complete our competition between two groups. So, okay, I will see you after 15 minutes, yes, okay? Так, значит, мы остановились на формах либо. В принципе, наверное, сейчас уже как бы понятно, да? То есть, когда вас спросят, что такое риба, so when you will face some question regarding the riba, at least you will know So that there is some definition and there is some components and some types of riba, and which types of riba, for example, in banking sector you can divide it, in your daily life you can, for example, see that some transaction, some of your dealings is not Sharia compliant because there is some, probably some kinds of riba can appear in your transactions, in your dealings. That's why it's very important and very crucial to know and to use it in your daily life. So now we're going to the gharar. So gharar, I tried to make it more understandable, and there is some additional kinds of prohibitions what we have. For example, as a gambling, also actually it have some kinds of gharar. So it's gambling also, maisir is also here, you see. So the first what is things where is we can say the gharar is there is a settlement of risks. So some kinds of risk, for example, when the seller has no control over the subject matter or not in position to hand over the subject matter to the buyer. For example, when seller come to buyer and tell him, okay, I will sell you the fish which is in river. This fish not in his hand, and I will sell you something not exist at the time. Also, except some Islamic finance deals that you know, like a salam and istisna. Only two kinds of contracts. It's not forbidden, it's acceptable from Sharia perspective, but with certain conditions, you see. So when buyer can't catch or can have and handle his property, at that time will be the settlement risk appear. So there is some uncertainty in this situation, and this the first type and first idea about what is the gharar. So uncertainty in the subject matter or in the delivery of this subject matter. The second, where is the inaccurate or inadequate information. So there is a gharar. So this gharar is caused by this inadequate or not relevant information, or the subject matter or price is unknown. For example, somebody would like to sell some property, some assets, but telling the price is not unknown now. It will be, for example, after 1 day or 2 days. But you should pay yes now, for example. So there is uncertainty in the price, and this deal and this transaction could not be happen because it in non-Sharia compliant, because it has some uncertainty in the information about this transaction. And the third one, where is the uncertainty of the timing of benefit, where the transaction involves speculation or extreme risk, hazard. For example, when you go to the casino, or somebody go to the casino, and playing there and expect that he will win in order to put something in. So his expectation that he will win, but there is no real effort, no real things what the person will did in order to have some income. Only, for example, expect from the luck or from something will happen and not manageable, something with under control of the people, and there is some extreme risk, for example, some hazard maybe happened in some transaction. All of this such and speculation as well. So, for example, when we spoke about monopoly and somebody who speculate in the prices, fixed price, or for example, do not sell until period of time when the prices will grow up. So all of these things, of course, if we speak about small company, small organization is acceptable. But if we will speak about the monopolist, big company who will change the price on the market, at that time, this will be, it will show for us as a gambling, and it's also forbidden because at the end of the day, it will give us understanding of the gharar. So gharar, in this situation, in which this understanding is also forbidden. Any question? Yes.
For example, you are a guest in my home, so I said to you that you can buy anything for 1,000, anything, and so it will be.
Yes, exactly. Because you do not specify what is the exact thing. Of course, if it's acceptable from your side, and you expect that everything can be done by 1,000 tenge, it depends on, of course. Why not? But it doesn't mean.
The example of Abu Hanifa, for example, when he had a lot of caravans of goods in the bazaar, he had his own, for example, now this we call shop, for example, is when he knew that some of the clothes is not selling at exact price. For example, he distributed all his goods and began his business from zero. Because this Arabic, there is uncertainty in the prices as well.
Yes.
And even he went for himself into bazaar to buy some clothes, he said, this clothes cost much higher than you are getting from me. I will pay you such kind of.
Yes, and this
the true, the right, I think the right price will be for every right.
it should be fair.
How do you know which is the right
Because Abu Hanifa, he was a scholar, the imam, and he knew, because he had his own business, and not just a scholar, from history we know. And example, he knew, for example, how much this cost, for example, in that bazaar, in that bazaar. And the seller asked, for example, 1,000 tenge for these clothes. But he knew that it cost much higher than 1,000 tenge, for example. And he gave him, in order to be justice, he gave this 2,000. No, you should take this one.
It's
It's like example for our nowadays Muslim community.
Yes, it's a very good example. Actually, may perhaps not directly related to the gharar, but at the same time, it's show us how the imams, yes, how they deals in different situations, and of course, what. Yeah. Actually, yes, the main source in muamalat fiqh, in muamalat transactions, a lot of things taken from the Hanafi madhab, because Abu Hanifa himself, he was a trader, so he knows, yes, very well such, yes, transactions, and in his madhab, he gives them more time to write, to speak, and to cover the issues and cover the topics which are related to the transaction, yes, to the trade, and to interrelated relations between the people. Yes, this is true, and a lot of scholars nowadays, they approve this. So it's a very good honor to us that our mazhab giving a lot of efforts on this. So any other questions in this right now?
Is more than risk, yes?
There are more than risk, yes, of course. So there is some risk, manageable risk, for example. Some risks that can be managed and can be, for example, there is some tools how to deal with some of risks. But this gambling, for example, this is something is not in your hands. You can't manage it. By this, it automatically go to the make this transaction not valid, and it will be gharar at that time appear. Okay. Yep. Yes, Meiser actually, what is a Meiser? And actually Meiser, gambling, and what we have hazard as well. All of these things, it's depend on uncertainty. You see, when you coming and playing in such things, what you can manage it by yourself. And these things is not, for example, you have to make some efforts, and in opposite of your efforts, you will have some awards, some income. In case of Meiser, gambling, there is no efforts. Only, for example, you paying your money and you waiting for luck. For example, you will, for example, win or not win. For there is no something you do, and these things, what will happen? It's not manageable. You cannot, for example, say that you will, for example, you do everything to win because you works, for example, and do some things what need to have a result. But this, all of this depends on only your luck. Yes. Okay.
There's some predict the results of some games.
Mm-hmm. Of course. So if there is some games, we speaking about casino. When you playing, for example, and putting your money, and you doesn't know what is the results. If, for example, there is some other place where you can expect that there is some manageable thing, for example. But even chess, even other place, yes, games when you where you playing, it's not so much Sharia compliant to put it money as well. So the first things to play or to not play, it's the first things. But to enter in muamalat transaction, to put the money on this game, and to, for example, this one will win, I will put money on this, and wait, he will win or not, you don't know. I am not speaking about chess, I am speaking in general, yes. When, for example, you go to the horse, yes. All of things which is formula by itself, no problem. But putting money, this is other issue, you see. So, for example, I don't know what is happening in Dubai, they using gambling or not, but in general, every game, what you expect and you paying your money and you wait for luck. For example, something will happen or not happen. This is forbidden in Islam. This is gharar. Okay. Okay. Any question?
For example, when you use jar instruments, and for example, you rent a house, right? Like you monthly pay rent, right? And for example, you lose your job and become unemployed. And that's just it's not a gharar, it's a risk, right? Like you lost your job and now you cannot pay. It's a risk that was high.
Yes, but this risk, yes, yeah, you are right. This is a risk, and but this is not gharar.
Yeah, so sometimes gharar and risk can be like confused as kind of instructions, like to distinguish between them.
Yes, yes. At that time, we will see what is manageable or not manageable. In this case, for example, yes, there is a risk, but this risk, for example, you can go to the other job, or you can do you can manage this situation, yes? But in some cases, what is strictly forbidden, you can't manage it. For example, as a gambling, what effort you can put in order to win, for example. It's just on luck. So how it happens, you cannot manage.
For example, when you pay this rent, you should pay when you, like, before you leave, right? Like, in the beginning of the month, you should pay this rent, then you should leave, right? Not like you receive it, like you leave and like you will pay it.
Actually, these things, I think it not more dependent on Sharia perspective. It's more dependent on inter-relation situation. So how you agreed with your provider of the rent, it will be like so. It could be from the beginning, or it could be at the end of the month, for example.
It's not correct to promise that you will pay, but not be able to pay.
In which case, sublease?
Yeah, if you will pay like if you will leave for 1 month and at the end of the month you will not be able to pay.
Actually, it's in Shariah, for example, maybe not mentioned during our lecture, but the common, what is the common, or in general, what we can say, the work, every work, even it will be usufruct, like services, khidmat, or the, some goods, what was delivered to you, you should to pay until you will leave, until you will finish your dealing. This is a main rule. For example, in this case, you have a, for example, one month you have some usufruct, you live and you rent the house, for example, and at the end of month, you can pay at the beginning and at the end, because your transaction, for example, was for 1 month, and you use this time. So your dealing not finished yet. So when you finish it your 4 months, okay, whatever you will pay at the beginning, at the, for example, at the half of this month or at the end of this, I think the Sharia rules will not say this is issue upon you and your provider, you see? Okay.
Also, can we say that gambling, that Maisir and Darar are separate prohibitions of Maisir just a part of Darar? I mean, because before previous lectures, it was presented that there are prohibitions in Islamic finance like Darar, like Maisir, but on this slide, we see that Maisir kind of part of Darar.
Yes.
So are they just close related to each other, or are they separate?
You are right, and I'll try to explain from the beginning that Maisir and gambling we put in this gharar because the idea is the same. The idea of this depends on uncertainty. So, for example, in this case, there was uncertainty in that there is no, in fact, no understanding. You will win or you will not win. You see, so there is a risk, and this risk depends on certainty or uncertainty on this situation. So the gharar and hazard and such things is, you see, the benefit where the uncertainty of the timing of the benefits. So you doesn't know when you will get the benefit. It's also one elements of gambling, and what is forbidding also in forbidden like a gharar, you see. So there is the uncertainty, and any uncertainty what we speak about, we taking it, entering it in the gharar prohibitions, you see.
You can say that Maisir just kind of
Maisir, of course, it has additional things. For example, it not totally yes, like only uncertainty. Any uncertainty can be put it under gharar. No, but it's very simple, similar to gharar. Yes. The idea, every uncertainty what we have, we can we can say that at the end it will cause gharar, and because this is a gharar, we cannot allow it, and we cannot accept this dealing or this transaction and tell that this is valid transaction. Okay.
In my opinion, the key point is not uncertainty. I think the key point is why is not uncertainty? Because what is uncertainty? Uncertainty is the risk. It will be or it not will be it's risk, I think. I think the key point is that there are no daily labor.
Yes, this manage. Yes. This also mentioned here. So yes, first things it uncertainty. Second things you cannot manage it. Timing. You see, and as you mentioned, something related to yes. By the way, uncertainty, and we see extremely uncertainty. So, for example, yes, some uncertainty. Of course, I think yes. In the case of our sister, perhaps gharar is not, for example, when you come to the flat and anything there is 100. At least she limited and make some, put some, yes, make certain. What is this certain thing? House. Anything in this house, you see? So by this word, it may certain. Not something not existing. No, existing thing first. Second, in this house, not outside in our neighbor's house. No, in this house, you see? So by this, it means in this case, maybe there is no gharar. Yes, there is gharar in terms of it's uncertain which kind will be, yes, chosen. For example, it can be anything, yes, from this house, but the owner of this house tell anything, whatever it will be, yes, refrigerator or TV or anything in this house, because the owner is here and the owner is okay with everything what will be sold here. It's 1,000 tenge. So it's all of components of the deals is here. So this uncertainty is manageable uncertainty. So you are right. We not speak about any uncertainty, and by this there is no transaction yet could be happened. At least it will be the main components of the deals will be here. It should be here. Okay. Okay. The services, as you remember, we mentioned it. So services, we can consider it as a part of the deal. It can be subject matter, any kind of service, but these services should be Sharia compliant. The main requirement of these services. Okay, so we'll go to another some assessment. Okay, some quiz. I think it will be more easier than before. I will give you. I think this one is okay. This will cover. Okay. I think yes, you can. Yes, you can sit together because. Yes, for me. Okay, thank you. Okay, and this for you. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. So today we would like to distribute between you the certificate that you will honor it by the end of our seminar. So please, Maya, Boligenova. Okay. Okay. Jainar. Tamerlan. Okay. Timur. Okay. Okay. Aigirim. Okay. Aigirim. Aset. Okay. Okay. Gauhar. Okay. Aidana. Okay. Yes. Azamat. Okay. Saida. Yes. Dosam. Okay. Берег. Так, он с кем-то ушел. Посмотрите, пожалуйста, свои. Тут этот у вас, да? And Берег. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Тоже, да? Перезет. Хорошо.